Welcome into everybody. Oh my God, I wish you were with me today. You can be with me today, actually. But I wish you were with me today. We are live. We are at Potawatomi Hotel Casino. We are in the sports book here. The big, giant, beautiful. I'm going to put a little bit of a video together. I'll post it over on Instagram and on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. And probably over on TikTok and Twitter. But oh my God, is this place fantastic. I mean, I had a chance to see it a little bit during the construction, but you got to come. This is better than I think of the majority of sports books we saw in Vegas. It really, truly is. It's an amazing venue, and you can't believe that it's right here in your own backyard. We are in an actual broadcast studio up top, overlooking behind me, which is the giant, I don't know, I think it's about a 40-yard long television that carries within it probably 30 other televisions. And it's amazing. They've got everything from the PGA Championship, Sports Center. They have got boxing that went on the other day. They have got horse racing. There's nothing here you couldn't want. It's an amazing, amazing venue. Then down below is all the seats. And you've got, on top of that, food service and bar service. And it's just an incredibly amazing venue. And if you're watching online right now and following us there, you can see some of the things that we've got behind us as well. So this is the studio that I'm in. For those that are watching online, this is the studio, the broadcast studio. We kind of, talked about a few tips and here and there and things you can do. And they've got their own studio for producers that would be on the other side of the wall behind me or in front of me, that they have their own cameras here. So you can do full-blown TV shows, radio shows, all that kind of stuff. It's amazing. And then down below, that's down below. Big, giant theater seats, tables, booths, full bar, and it doesn't even show the upstairs in the VIP area. It's just incredible. So welcome into today's program. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. You come down today. We get some people here walking around downstairs. And if you want to sign up, they'll get your name and their phone number and address and stuff. And we are going to give away a 65 in honor of the giant TV we have here. Now, we can't put anything like this in your house, but in honor of this giant TV, ABC Audio Video, they're giving away today, Chris and the gang, a 65-inch big panel TV, flat screen TV that I don't even know if those are big anymore. I've got one in my house that's 85. I know now they go up to 96, I think, is some of the big regular televisions now. But we're going to give away a 65-incher today. So I'm excited about that. So looking forward to that. In the meantime, we've got the Packers schedule has dropped, and the Brewers beat for the most part, the scoring was done yesterday during the show. So we know that. There's nothing new here. But the Brewers beat the hell out of the Pirates. I mean, just pounded on them yesterday. Off today. Then tomorrow they head to Houston. Well, they'll be in Houston. And they got a 3-game series there, a 3-game series with then the Marlins. Then they're off another next Thursday. And then they are on the road again in Boston at Fenway to take on the Red Sox before coming back home for that series against Craig Counsell and the Cubs, and then a weekend series with the White Sox. So a lot of baseball coming up. Good to have everybody on board today, whether it's Stephen Thomas, Judge Smail's Burners account, whatever it happens to be. Right? He said, I would have guessed you were in Vegas. It's incredible. When we were at the Mandalay Bay in Vegas, it was a really cool sports book. And then there's Bally's, and then there's the MGM and stuff, and you kind of get a chance to go look around. But as far as how nice they are, this beats them. It just does. This sports book is amazing. It just beats them. You want to get a hold of the program today, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670, 608-321-1670. That is our text line. 608-321-1670. You can find us there, 608-321-1670. Always good to have you there. You can track us down on Twitter at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels on Twitter, on X. Grant Bill's off today. He is in Vegas, as a matter of fact. But you can find us on over on Instagram. You can also find us on Facebook under The Bill Michaels Show. So Instagram or Facebook.com/The Bill Michaels Show. You can watch the program on both of those. I know we're on Instagram Live right now, too. TikTok, simply the same thing, The Bill Michaels Show. Then you go to YouTube. YouTube is a terrific way to pay attention to the program. Go to youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. youtube.com/Bill Michaels Show. And then it's on the Twitch app, on the Kick app. You can find us on LinkedIn under Bill Michaels. Email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. That's thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And that's a great way to pay attention to us. And you can also track us down on the app, WOZN, the Zone Madison app. And then wherever you get your information after the fact, podcasts and such, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts, all that kind of good stuff as well. So, Austin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Bill. How about you?
I am doing wonderfully. So you've got the helm now, huh?
I am on the board right now. You know,
okay.
Year two of the internship, day 2. We're here.
Okay. So are you impressed with what the Brewers did yesterday? We're going to pick your brain for certain things along the way. The youth movement is on in the studio. I like that.
Of course, yeah. The Brewers are playing well. William Contreras might be a top 3 MVP guy right now.
Yep. He's a beast.
Yeah.
He's an absolute beast. 100% agree with you. He is he multi-hit game. When you just look at his numbers, and he leads the league in multi-hit games. He's up there in every other category on top of it. By the way, Brewers game and a half above the Cubs right now, 8 above Cincinnati, 8 above St. Louis, both of whom lost yesterday. You've got the Pirates. They have now lost 2 in a row. They're 7.5 games back. It's really a race between the Cubs and the Brewers. But between the defensive prowess and the night that Sal Frelick had the night before, William Contreras, everybody. Yeah, Sanchez had a hell of a game yesterday as well. As we watched it. And Gasser, the first pitcher in Brewers franchise history to win back-to-back games in his first 2 starts in the majors. Just remarkable. Great stuff. So good to see that yesterday as well. Like I said, they're off today, back at it tomorrow. Do you like the Brewers schedule, Austin? Or excuse me, the Packers schedule. The Packers schedule.
Packers schedule, I do. Start off with a lot of noon games. And then that one stretch of 4 primetime games is definitely an interesting one, but it'll be fun. I think the toughest stretch is probably, we talked about it on the show this morning, toughest stretch is going to be the Niners, Dolphins, Lions, and back-to-back weeks. But besides that, I think it's setting up. I think the win total right now is opening up at 9.5, 10.5. I think I'm liking the over so far.
Yeah, on paper, it seems to be a challenging schedule. I think they said it's depending on what analytic you look at, it's anywhere from like 7th to 14th, I think.
Yeah.
Some say it's the 4th most difficult schedule. We talked about it yesterday, saying it doesn't mean anything. Because when you look at some of the opponents they have, you don't know if they're going to be better, if they're going to be worse. You just don't know. So I'm not really concerned about, I think they got a good shot of beating the Eagles over in Brazil. The Eagles obviously made some moves in the offseason to get better, but depending on which Eagles team shows up, the team that was 10-1 at one point or the team that was terrible in the latter portion of the season and went quietly into that good night in the postseason, they were awful. Then you get a bit of a break and you come back and you've got Indianapolis with Richardson, and you don't know how to really scheme him yet because he didn't have enough time in the NFL last year in his rookie season before he got hurt. They go to Tennessee. That's not a bad way to go. Minnesota comes calling at the end of September on the 29th, and that's another noon kickoff. I don't know I think Minnesota is actually going to end up being the dog in the division. I just do. And that's maybe having like on paper more belief for the Bears than what we should. But as of right now, I think the Bears have done enough to upgrade that maybe they can get a few more wins. I just don't know what McCarthy's going to be. And I don't know what that defense is going to be that Minnesota has. So I'm kind of hedging my bet saying that can be a win as well. They go on the road to take on the Rams. Always a goofy place to play. West Coast does not fare well for the Green Bay Packers. They've never been consistent So it bothers me that they have to go. I'm glad they don't have to go there very often, to be honest with you. Arizona comes to Lambeau Field. The Texans game, were you surprised that the Texans with C.J. Stroud was not a primetime or a regional game?
I was, to be honest. I think that is one of the top. I mean, you got two of the top young quarterbacks in the league.
Right.
I feel like you would have wanted a national stage for that.
I completely agree. Both Grant and I were kind of thinking that game had to be at least a regional, and they didn't. Now I don't know if that's a CBS game or a Fox game, but whoever it was protected it, and they didn't want to give it up. And that's probably, to me, that's probably what happened. Then they get Jacksonville, and that's going to be a home game. That'll be a home game for the Packers because they always travel well to Jacksonville. Then you've got the regional game. Detroit comes calling on November 3rd. Then you got a bye week, which is, it falls right in the middle of the season. So it's pretty nice to get the bye week then. Then the Packers go to Chicago. That's another noon kickoff on November 17th. Then you got the two quick ones against two really good opponents, because you got the 49ers coming to Lambeau Field for a regional 325 game against the Packers on the 24th. And then quickly Thanksgiving night, the Packers have Miami that comes to town. So, which is another really tough game. Then you turn it around, and a week later, so they get a full week off. Then they go right back to Detroit for that 7:15 kickoff. And then they go to Seattle. They go to another West Coast game over to Seattle for the December 15th, because they get kind of that little mini, break, because they don't play that weekend after they play Detroit. So they've got the 8th off, the 7th and the 8th. Then they got a full week, and then they go to Seattle. Then they come back for a Monday night affair where New Orleans comes to town. Then the Packers travel to Minnesota, and they don't have a ton of cold weather games. Did you notice that? They've got Chicago at home to end the season. They go to Minnesota, dome game. They've got New Orleans on the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas. That's an outdoor game at Lambeau Field. They're in Seattle. They're in Detroit. So they've only got in December, they've only got a couple of games at home into January. So, I mean, unless they end up with home games for playoffs, which you hope for, they don't have a ton of those frozen, frigid, cold temperature games. So the weather doesn't even really play into it too much unless you get rain early in the year. I like the schedule. I'm thinking, if I went out on a ledge and said 10 to 11 wins, would you think I'm crazy?
Not at all.
I
think that's a fair line.
And again, we're picking games far too early, but I think the more I've kind of considered this, I think they win on the road, the opener. I think the Colts come to town. The Packers get the win there. The Packers get the win in Tennessee, and the Packers get the win at home against Minneapolis. They lose on the road against the Rams. They win at home against Arizona. The Texans game, I think, is going to be a flip 'em, but because they're at home, I'll take it. They win at Jacksonville. That's 7. We'll say they split with Detroit, so they win the one at home. They beat Chicago at home. The 49ers until they beat them. I can't say they're going to beat them. I don't know what the secondary is going to be like. So Miami's going to be a tough one, but I'm going to say they win on Seattle. They win against New Orleans. They split with Minnesota. Say they split every game and they get Chicago. That's 11 wins. That's 11 wins right there. Now, maybe I'm getting out over my skis a little bit, but that's 11 wins right there. So I feel good about where the Packers are. If you start to look at the wins and losses, I feel like, and again, this is based upon the expectations of what we saw coming out of last season, which expectations should be high. What would be unacceptable? What would be a failure of a season? 8 wins and not making a postseason?
I would agree with that. I think a failure would be if we don't step up from last year. Right. I think we have to prove on the record from last year.
I think it's got to be a 10-win or plus season. I don't know. I don't know who's going to win the division, so I can't say you got to get a home playoff game. But back where you were last year at the very least. And then with maybe getting to an NFC championship game. I mean, the window is now open, but we know what the length of window is. So I'm really, maybe I'm too far out over my skis on this, but I'm thinking optimistic of 11 wins, plus or minus a win, obviously in the postseason and more than a few wins in the postseason. That's kind of where I'm at. If you got a difference of opinion or you want to voice yours, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670, 608-321-1670. You can text us if you choose to do so there as well. We are broadcasting live inside Potawatomi at the brand new sports book here, which is absolutely fantastic. Come on by today. You can get lunch downstairs. You can just kind of take a load off, fill out one of our sheets of paper and just get your name and phone number and stuff and get registered. And today, at the end of the day, and there's not going to be like a ton of people here. It's not like we're going to have like 500. It'd be great if we did. But you may be one of 30 that are hanging out downstairs today. You got a shot at winning a 65-inch big screen TV, compliments of ABC Audio Video as well. Going to take a quick break. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this. Don't go anywhere.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Jeff Levering and wife Ashley love their patio door from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It's so bright, it's so clear. I can see the kids outside playing, and it makes it comfortable for the life we live, which is an active one.
I love the roll screen. The fact that the screen is on the inside.
For the first time, our whole house actually feels like the same climate.
And no drafts. It's a game changer.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella, and if you order today, you get 0% interest for up to 48 months. When it comes to replacing or upgrading your windows and doors, you want to be confident about your decisions. With Pella Design Works, you can see what your home could look like before you buy. Black frame windows or white, vinyl, wood, or fiberglass. Bring your vision to life and rest assured it's the perfect style for your home. Right now, get 0% interest-free financing for up to 48 months when you order by May 31st. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 5/31/2024.
Suit up for the $800,000 Sports Car Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. April through May. Score free play, cash, one of 4 new Toyota GR86s or a new Toyota Supra. Play with your club card to earn entries. 5 times the entries on drawing days and when the Milwaukee Brewers play at home. Got what it takes, Slugger? Only at Potawatomi. For more details, visit payspay.com/sportscar. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Phil Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back. The Bill Michaels Show continues on a week from yesterday. So we're less than a week away. Coming up on May 22nd, Wednesday Night Live is back at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. The Glam Band kicks things off next on Wednesday night. The gates open up at 6. Free admission, free parking for motorcycles, and they're going to have food and beverages, and we're going to be there next Wednesday as well, doing our show, doing the broadcast live. So looking forward to it and excited. Wednesday Night Live is always kind of like the rite of passage for summer. So as soon as Wednesday Night Live is back, it kind of feels like all is right with the world. And hopefully we get to some warmer weather on a consistent basis, great Wednesday nights, great weekends, and we begin to enjoy our summer like only Wisconsinites can. But Wednesday Night Live back at the Wisconsin State Fair Park coming up next Wednesday, May 22nd, when the Glam Band takes the stage. And again, the gates open up at 6. Parking for motorcycles is free. And get ready to have a terrific, terrific summer in the state of Wisconsin. So really looking forward to it. Here today at Potawatomi Hotel Casino inside the sportsbook, the brand new sportsbook at Potawatomi Hotel Casino, which is just a fantastic place for those that are watching. This is a studio upstairs here where and you can see now where they give us just an incredible venue. I used a lot of my own equipment today because I didn't know how to work theirs. But we look like we are going to be doing some football shows here, whether it's post-game shows or some huddles. But we're going to be doing some here at Potawatomi, and I love this. I love this setup. They built this studio with a lot of high-end recommendations when it came to audio, video, and such. And this is a tremendous, tremendous place to be. And then obviously you can look down below and just that's behind me. For those that are watching on the live stream, that's behind me. That's just a great venue. I mean, whether you want to have a VIP section for a party of some type, or you're a corporate outing or bachelor party, or you just want to come down here with a group of people and do your fantasy draft, whatever it happens to be. I mean, this is just an amazing venue. So thanks to Potawatomi for having us. So a couple of notes regarding the Packers schedule. We had talked about it. The bye comes middle of the season. And after the last couple of seasons, the Packers either had a bye that came in the first 5-6 weeks, or really late, like in week 14, 15 of the season in December. So to get it in the middle of the season, I'm sure, timing is everything when it comes to injuries and such. But, when you get a bye week really right in the middle of the season, that's not bad. That's a good way to go. 9 home games, 8 road games this year. And I think there's only one instance where you have a back-to-back road game, and only one instance where you have a back-to-back home game. So it's pretty consistent back and forth with a few breaks because of the national games that are in there. So you get a few breaks in there, but not a bad way to go. And you get weeks, 2 through, I don't know specifically what week, 8 or 9 or something like that, where you get games that are basically played at noon, and you really get a shot at getting into your rhythm of your season, which is, again, something scheduling wise that coaches love. It bodes well to get. Now you do got to travel. I think it's like, what did I read? Like 11,000 miles between Green Bay and Brazil round trip. So it's, you're hauling it pretty good in your first week of the season, but it's not bad when you get the road games and the home games. They're all at noon, a lot of Sundays, and you get into your rhythm. So that's not a bad way to go, because you got those 4 games, weeks 12 through 15, where they're all primetime games. You get the primetime games. So like I talked about, the 49ers, then you got Miami just a couple of days later. Then another Thursday, you've got Detroit in a primetime matchup. And then you got another one after that. But the San Francisco and Miami games, the good news is they're both at home. in that sense. So that's some good news too. And you get some games at home that, if you're needing, of a couple of wins, you get the final 3 games are going to be played at Lambeau Field. But like I said, you don't have those hardcore cold weather games that are consistent where you only week after week after week after week you're at home. You get a couple of them in the dome, a couple of them on the road. So it's not bad. It's not bad. So I like the schedule. It's like it just maps out pretty well for the Packers in a lot of different ways. Thoughts on it? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. The 608, our guy says, Bill, I agree with you. I think the Packers go 11-6 this upcoming season. Excited. 9 home games, 7 road games, 1 neutral field, not 8 road games. Well, but you're not at home for the straight games is what I'm saying. So if you want to get technical, yeah, you're right. But you're not at home. You're on the road. That's considered a road game. At a neutral field, yes, but there you go. And by the way, the Packers are the road team in that game. They're not the home team in that game, which doesn't really mean anything when you're a neutral site, but you get it. And then Rick from Spencer says it's going to be nice if you have the postgame show with all noon games. Oh yeah. I love that. It gets you into a routine. You get up early, you head off to the stadium. You've got a 3 o'clock start time for the postgame show. Done at 5 on the road home by 6. Yeah, and you're in your own bed by 8 o'clock that night. That's that, or get home in time to still catch the Sunday night game. If you're not going to bed. But that's awesome. I completely agree with you. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. This one's from Jan. Jan says, hey, Unit, how many games are you going to be at home this year? I'm going to be at all the games. I think there's a possibility of being not at Lambeau for 1 game. There's a possibility for that. But otherwise, we'll be there for all of them. I've only missed, I think, other than the COVID season. Other than COVID, I think in 5 going on 26 years of Packers football, I think this will be maybe, if I miss one this year, it'll be like my 3rd game. That's it. In 26 years, barring COVID, the COVID year, of missing Packers home games. That's it. So, pretty good run. This is from Dan. Dan says, hey, Unit, I agree. I would say 11 wins. But if you had to pick some of the upset losses by teams coming into Lambeau Field or teams that they're going to face that you figure they would win, what would they be? Splitting with the Bears. I can see. Maybe losing to Seattle. The West Coast never treats them right. Something like that. Boy, that's a great question. If they lose to both Miami and the 49ers at home, that would be in back-to-back fashion as well. That would be a little bit a tough one to take. I gave them the Texans game because it's at home, but CJ Stroud and what he's doing down there, that's a good team, man. That's a really good team. Or if they would lose to Jacksonville. I could see that being a somewhat of an upset. But beyond that, I feel pretty comfortable. And again, these are all predictions way, way too early to really come true. 877-867-1670. This portion of the program brought to you by our great friends over there at Cousin Subs, where now through Sunday, if you go to the app, if you order online, anything over $30, it's an 80-cent delivery fee. That's it. Donald Driver, 80-cent delivery fee. That's it. Cousin Subs, where they believe in better. They've got a bunch of different quality subs. They've got pretzel buns out now, but also they are a big supporter of our motorcycle ride coming up on Sunday, September 1st. And they jumped on board. There's going to be a food truck there. They want to be a part of it. And they came to us and said, hey, we do so much in the community. We want to be a part of this event. Can we be a part of it? And we said, absolutely. So Cousin Subs, kudos to them. Kudos to Cousin Subs for being a part of our motorcycle ride, benefiting and supporting Fisher House, Wisconsin, and Big Unit Foundation. We really, really appreciate their participation. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute.
Looking for me? We deliver. Yes. What's up? Delivery. Oh my God. What we do? Brakes over, driver. Come on, man.
Welcome back to the program. Glad you're on board today. The Bill Michaels Show. Enjoying ourselves. We are inside the beautiful new sports book here at Potawatomi Hotel Casino, and man, what an incredible place! As I was telling you a little bit earlier, and you know what? It was interesting. I was sitting here during the break, and I had a couple of people that were texting me that said, "Hey, what are you thinking about maybe doing? If you're not going to do the postgame show from Brazil, what about there? Maybe." I talked to the powers that be down here. Maybe this is where we do the postgame show. We do the postgame show either here in this studio, or we do it inside with the people, and we do it and watch the game on the big screen TV here at Pot. I think we're going to do that. I'll make that happen today. I'm going to make that happen today. We're going to do the postgame show here. We're going to have a great time. Do a giant watch party here on a Friday night, Potawatomi Hotel Casino. We'll imbibe a little bit and enjoy ourselves and watch the game, and it'll be fantastic. I think we do that. I'm geeked. Austin, you in? Can you even get in a casino yet?
I am 20, so unfortunately.
Okay. Well, if you're working with us, you could probably.
If I'm working, if I get the work pass, I might be able to.
Okay. Yeah. As long as you're not hammered and fall off the VIP upper section. Yeah. I'll tell you this has got Ebo and Grant written all over it. I know Grant likes his sports book, but this has got those two guys written all over it. I love this place, but these guys will go ape-ass over this thing. This is beautiful here. I want to remind you, if you are in the downtown area of Milwaukee and you're looking for terrific food, the best Italian food in town is Calderone Club. Calderone Club, whether it's spaghetti and meatballs, which are award-winning, the thin crust pizza, the chicken marsala, the eggplant appetizer. You can go through the bruschetta. I mean, I can go through everything. It's just fantastic food. Go there. Check it out for yourself. Right across the street from the Hyatt Hotel in downtown Milwaukee, 838 Old World 3rd Street. Or there is San Giorgio, which is right next door, which is the authentic. It's got to be certified from Napoli, Italy. Anybody can have a wood-fired pizza. That's not the same. Don't tell me and go, I got one of those here. No, you didn't. You don't know what you're talking about. You got to go there and check it out. It's oils and fresh ingredients and things that are made right there in front of you in a way that they prepare it. And it's all authenticated where pizza originated in Napoli, Italy. There's only 60-something of them in the country, and we have one right here in our own backyard. Calderone Club on one side, San Giorgio on the other, 838 Old World 3rd Street, downtown Milwaukee. Coming up later today, we're going to get Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette's going to join us, and we're going to talk with him about the schedule release. Obviously, a lot of anticipation and excitement for that. So we'll discuss that with him. Dick Girardi's going to be back with us today. The Preakness running this weekend. So we figure we're here placing a few dollars on certain events. So we might as well talk some Preakness today as well. So that's coming up in just a little while. You want your voice to be heard? 608-321-1670 on the text line, 608-321-1670. You can also hit us up, email thebillmichaels, gmail.com, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And then you can also track us down on the phone number as well. Rick says, when is Ryan Wood on today? I think he's on in about 45 minutes. Am I wrong on that, Austin? Bottom of the hour, bottom of the next hour?
11:30.
Yeah, boy.
Yep.
Bottom of the next hour. For those that are on tape delay, you just have to figure it out. Second hour. But 11:30 for those that are following along live. There you have it. So 11:30 today. Big Al from Jersey, Texas. Hey, hey, Bill. Big Al from Jersey here. I remember back in 1966, the Packers versus the Colts opener on national TV in Milwaukee. Saturday night, Caffey and Jeter both had a pick six, and Unitas versus Unitas, and the Pack ended up winning 24-3. 24-3. Good stuff there. I don't even remember that. 66, I was an amoeba. I wasn't really much of anything at that point. Not that I am now. By the way, the odds have come out week one. The odds have come out for week one. Week one, the Packers are an underdog, believe it or not. 1.5 point underdogs in the contest in Brazil. Neutral site, but the Eagles still considered the home team. The Eagles are favored by 1.5 points. 1.5 points in that one. The opener, by the way, Kansas City and Baltimore. Kansas City's favored by 2.5 in that contest. 2.5. So some of the odds for you for week one that we really care about. By the way, the Jets on the road in San Francisco. San Francisco favored by 6 early on. San Francisco favored by 6. So not a lot of faith in Aaron Rodgers and his new debut for the I think the over and under should actually be, instead of 6, it should be 76. The over and under on time played, because last year he only made it 76 seconds into the season. I think he'll make it more than that this year, but that's all the farther than Aaron Rodgers made it last year, remember. But the 49ers favored by 6 at that point. The Rams, 3-point underdogs going into Detroit already. What are some of the other games of interest? Dallas on the road at Cleveland. They're a point favorite. That's it. Dallas is a point. Yeah. And then 2 teams that met up in the postseason a couple of years ago. Minnesota on the road in New York to take on the Giants. Giants favored by 1 point there already. Early lines in that one. The Texans, 2.5 point favorites going into Indianapolis. C.J. Stroud, remember Richardson last year, he came in and looked fantastic in the preseason early on and then ended up with the knee injury, and down he went. So he was not able to participate last year. So this is like his rookie season all over again. So those 2 young quarterbacks squaring off in Indianapolis, C.J. Stroud and company favored by 2.5 points. But that's one that I would, if I'm going to take a flyer on an underdog, that might be a one I would do so. You've got the Bears, 4.5 point favorites opening up at home against Tennessee already. The Bears are favored. Buffalo favored over Arizona. The Falcons favored over Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and everybody that Pittsburgh has to offer. The Falcons with Kirk Cousins favored by 3. So just some of the opening lines regarding the NFL in week one. Interesting stuff. This is Mark. Mark says, hey, guys, a couple of questions. One, for the home games, where are you going to be doing the postgame show? We talked about this yesterday. Right now, we're supposed to be at Burkles, unless something changes. But we're supposed to be at Burkles 1 block over, where we were last year. The old Champions Pub. We had a great time there last year, too. And Kevin was a great host to us, so we appreciate that. And, I mean, like I said, unless something changes, but that's where we're supposed to be. He said, are you going to do any watch parties? We'd like to. We'd like to do some away watch parties this year. I don't know specifically where we're going to be, but I know that this will be a great venue for the opener. That Friday night down here at Potawatomi, I think we would have a great time. I think we do. I think we have a party, and maybe we do. I don't know if they'd give us the VIP upper deck, but maybe they would. Maybe we do this where you get into the VIP upper deck with us, and you have to register for it, but it'll be open to the public down below, but the VIP deck will be just for us. Maybe we do that. We'll see. There's people milling around down here that have capability to say, okay, maybe we do that. I like that idea. I'm all for it. I'll be all over that. 877-867-1670. We're broadcasting live with Potawatomi Hotel Casino and the big new sports book right behind us. Come on down, say hi. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at J&L Tire and Service Center, one in Johnson Creek, the other one in Watertown. Johnson Creek, right there north of 94th, the Johnson Creek exit. You can't miss it, whether it's for tires, brakes, oil changes, service, major engine repair, whatever it is. Minivans, coupes, sedans, all the way up to 18-wheelers. They do it all, and they have the facilities for it all. That is J&L Tire and Service Center right there in Johnson Creek and on Boulder Road in Watertown. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Jeff Levering and wife Ashley love their patio door from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It's so bright. It's so clear. I can see the kids outside playing, and it makes it comfortable for the life we live, which is an active one.
I love the roll screen. The fact that the screen is on the inside.
For the first time, our whole house actually feels like the same climate.
And no drafts. It's a game changer.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella, and if you order today, you get 0% interest for up to 48 months. When it comes to replacing or upgrading your windows and doors, you want to be confident about your decisions. With Pella Design Works, you can see what your home could look like before you buy. Black frame windows or white, vinyl, wood, or fiberglass. Bring your vision to life and rest assured it's the perfect style for your home. Right now, get 0% interest-free financing for up to 48 months when you order by May 31st. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Hence 5/31/2024.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
How we looking, everybody? I'm fired up today. I know you can hear me on the stream. I'm giddy. Welcome back. Bill Michaels Show. We continue on, and I got to say thanks to my buddy Tim at Tim's Stereo Systems. I have not gotten the bike out to ride a lot this year. I got it out yesterday for a little bit. I ended up going up to Chris and Son's baseball game up in the Mequon area, but just pulled it out of the garage. I turned it up a little bit. I got 2 neighbors that ride. They live up the street from me. And I just, when you get something new and you want to use it, you want to use it. You want to do your thing. So I pulled it out. And this is stupid, I know. But I pulled my motorcycle out in the driveway. And I'm letting the sun hit it, and I'm wiping the bugs off of it and detailing it and taking care of everything before I left yesterday. And I thought, yeah, you kind of do that look around like you're ready to rob a bank. You're like, side to side with your eyes. And I thought, I'm going to turn the stereo on. I just want to hear it. So I turned it on a little louder and a little louder and a little louder, and it's as clear as a bell. I mean, it just rocks. And then up the street comes one of my neighbors, pulls into the driveway, said, "Where did you get that?" And I said, the sound system is from Tim Stereo Systems. I said, you can call him. Here's his number, 608-718-1425. But it's clear as a bell. Clear as a bell. And everybody knows if you own a motorcycle, you are anal when it comes to who works on it, to make sure it's quality, to make sure that it's not going to be dangerous, that it's not going to short everything else out. Tim's amazing. Amazing. He's going to do, he'll do my boat stereo. He will do everything for me from now on. The guy's that damn good. And the sound system, SOUNDZ, Sounds Authorized Dealer, is awesome. I can't say it enough. He just did a fantastic job. Call Tim, 608-718-1425. Tim Stereo Systems, motorcycle audio. But I'm going to talk him into doing my boat too. He just has to because it's amazing. timstereo@gmail.com if you want to email him. timstereo@gmail.com or call him 608-718-1425. It's just, man, it just blows you away. Blows you away. This is from James. James says, hey guys, great place. Potawatomi is an awesome facility. I was just there last weekend and I got a glimpse of the sports book. I can tell what you're talking about behind you is the real deal. We had an awesome time watching some UFC fight down there with friends, some UFC fights down there with friends. We're going to be back down there again next week with a bachelor party. It's an amazing venue. I can't say enough about it. I agree with you. He goes on to say, he says, do you think Jordan Love starts off slow or off fast like last year with a midseason lull, or does he shake off the rust at that point? Well, it's, once you get into the season, you're not shaking off rust. Last year, here's the difference between last year. And I know I've only got 4 minutes before we get to the top of the hour break, but here's the difference. Last year, you had young receivers. You had mix and match on the offensive line. You had 2 new tight ends. Your starter didn't even make it into the season. So you had to rely on youth. The only veteran that you really had that was a leader was Aaron Jones in the backfield and A.J. Dillon to a certain extent. But everything was new. And what they did was they prepared for Chicago. Okay, let's go make our stamp. Let's go put our mark. Let's do it in Chicago. And they played really well. And then they went to Atlanta and played good, but they left a lot on the field. Just way too many mistakes. And remember, he called that 4th down quick snap, and he was the only one. Jordan Love called the wrong signal, and the line didn't know what to do, and it didn't bode well. And then they got into a little bit of a funk, and you had questions. You had myself and a lot of other people questioning whether or not, 1, Love was the real deal, or 2, what was going on with the offense. It looked so bad. It looked like an unorganized high school team. At times, you had guys that were running the same routes and, ending up in the same area, and it wasn't good. So it was partly was Matt LaFleur. I think part of it was the wide receivers taking it upon themselves to say, hey guys, we got to get our S together, man. We look like idiots. And then it was the emergence. And then once they started with the offensive line and the mix and match, they were putting people in and out of series and trying to put the best 5 on the field. And then it got into a rhythm. Well, that's when everything started to happen. And with the last 7 or 8 games of the season, I am fully convinced that at some point, Matt LaFleur went down the hall to Joe Barry and said, hey, dude, I don't know what you're doing, but this isn't working, because the defense didn't look good. Remember, Devondre Campbell spoke out. Russell Douglas spoke out. Jair spoke out. Some of the leaders on that defense were saying, what the hell is going on here? You know? So I don't think you're starting off the same way as you did last year because everybody's already got familiarity. Now it's just a matter of kicking the rust off, which you're going to do in training camp and you're going to do in preseason. But it's just a matter of kicking that off and then hitting the ground running. And the fact that you get the Brazil game that you're going to get amped up for, and then you've got, 8, 9, 10 days in between, and then it's noon games. Then you get your rhythm on, because football players, creatures of habit, man. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday practices, same time, same place, same meetings. You know where you got to be. You know when your workouts are. You know when you're going to, you're going to have your food. You're going to have your salads. You're going to have your eats, your meals, your home time, your go out time. And then you got the noon game on Sunday for like 4 weeks, 5 weeks in a row. So I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. I don't think you're going to have to worry about, oh my goodness, they're going to figure it out. All these guys. I think right now it's just a matter of some of the young guys will be indoctrinated, but you don't have to rely on everybody being young. I mean, if Jordan Morgan is becoming your starting left tackle, he's the only guy you got to worry about. Maybe a little timing with Josh Jacobs in a backfield. But beyond that, everybody's already been there, done that. Everybody already knows everybody's familiarity. So I don't think, and Jordan Love, he's walking through the doors with the biggest cojones in the joint because for all the doubt that was heaped upon him last year, not this year. This year, we all the only thing we're wondering is how big's that contract going to be, And is he the real deal? So he's coming through with confidence, with already clout in the back pocket, and still with a chip on his shoulder saying, I got to do it twice. I got to prove to you that I'm the man. So I don't think you're going to have that same level of eyebrow raised. You know what I mean? I just don't think it's going to happen. We have got 1 hour that fast. Bam! That fast. 1 hour down. We have got 3 more yet to go. Oh, what a good day. What a good day. Look down below. If you're watching on the screen at home, if you're paying attention to us, this beautiful, incredible studio.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers took the rubber match of their 3-game series against the Pirates, winning 10-2 yesterday afternoon. Milwaukee hit 5 home runs, including a 3-run shot by William Contreras in the 3rd inning. He finished 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs. He's now batting .359 on the year, the 2nd-best mark in the majors. That effort drew praise from manager Pat Murphy.
Contreras is out of his mind. Like, it's epic what he's doing, like every at-bat. I mean, think of the lineouts, just the lineouts in this series. And, yeah, he's killing it right now.
Sal Frelick also had 3 hits, including a home run. Rookie Robert Gasser got his 2nd win in his 2nd start by giving up 1 run over 5 innings. Milwaukee, they stayed in 1st place in the NL Central, 2 games over the Cubs. They'll have off today, then open up a weekend series in Houston tomorrow. Turning to college basketball, Badgers have hired Lance Randall as an assistant coach. He comes from being a head coach at Division II St. Leo University, and UW Green Bay introduced Doug Gottlieb as their new head coach yesterday.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
All business owners want the same thing, to make their business succeed. At Rural Mutual, they help that happen. As the 3rd largest writer of commercial business in Wisconsin, they take the time to learn your business so they can properly protect you. Call your local agent today or visit ruralmutual.com.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
The Packers' full schedule is out after the NFL released the league's full matchups yesterday. After opening up against the Eagles in Brazil, their home opener a week later is against Indianapolis. They've got a brutal stretch in late November, early December that will see them host San Francisco and Miami and then head to Detroit. The season ends with a trip to Minnesota in Week 17, then home against the Bears on Week 18. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Welcome back. Good to have you. Good to have you. Bill Michaels Show. We are broadcasting live. We're at Potawatomi Hotel Casino and the Sports Book. And, man, what an amazing place. And I don't know what happened. Our cameras went down there for a second. So I have to kind of get those back up and running coming up here in just a couple of minutes. So stay tuned for that. So if you're watching online, don't freak out. We might reset things, but we'll get you. Don't worry. Don't panic. But man, what a terrific venue. What a great place. What a fun place to be. And I told you we get it done. I just some of the managerial will say the higher ups swung by and said, "Hey, looks great, sounds great. Everything okay?" They bring me some waters. I'm like, "Yeah, it's awesome." And I said, "Hey, what do you think about doing a watch?" Because they figure the watch party will be packed here anyway. I said, "Give us the VIP section, put us upstairs, and we'll bring 20 listeners and their guests. Everybody gets a guest. Put 40 people up here, just fans of the program and winners, and we'll be upstairs, and everybody else can kind of be in the general admission area, so to speak, and then we'll do the Green and Gold postgame show right from here for the Brazil game on a Friday night, hanging out here in the casino." And they said, if there's nobody that's got it booked as of right now, we'll do it. So I'm hoping to let you know maybe by the end of the day. That might be, we could do that. And then what we do is between now and the game in Brazil, when that airs, coming up in September. So what we do is between now and September 6th, starting next week, we would take a couple of winners a week. And I think that would be about, if I'm not mistaken, how many weeks is that? Or maybe we start it in June, but 4, 8, 12, maybe we do 24 guests plus their friends. We do 2 winners a week. I'm thinking we do that. I think we do that. Loving it. Great place to watch a game, great place to hang out. And we'll take people from all over the state. We're fired up for this. I'm excited. By the way, this is from Jake. Jake says, "Hey, I can't believe you're not going to Brazil. It'd be an opportunity to get out of the country and go experience another country for yourself." Jake, I would love to go. It's not a matter of whether I'd want to go. We do so much during the season, and there's only, our sponsors, the ones that I read every day, are our sponsors. We only take 25 per year, and it's a minimal amount of money. And what we promise our sponsors is we'll give them a lot of love because they couldn't normally do something like this, but it pays for our on-site broadcasts. It pays for Super Bowl. It pays for us to go to Road America. It pays for us to go when we go to Sturgis or whatever. But that is not a cheap trip to go to Brazil and set it up, and the logistics of doing it, which is the reason we didn't go to London either. I'd love to go to London, but I didn't want to do that. I would much rather do experiences such as this here at Potawatomi. I would much rather do experiences in the state at bars and pubs and huddles and stuff that we have to go and pay for in certain areas, and reach out and touch everybody here specifically, than do the Brazil thing. I agree with you. Look, I'd love to do it. It's not a matter of whether or not I want to do it. It's a matter of logistics. And I don't think Mike's going to go. I think Mike's going to remain here too. And remember, Mike travels all over the country and follows the Packers for us as well. And so it's not a cheap trip, but I'd love to do it. We got money in the network. We don't have millions in the network, because we reinvest it. And I'll be honest with you, because we don't charge people a ton of money. We could, we just don't. And that's where we've got everybody else out there beat because we don't try to rape, rob, and pillage to be on the air and work with people. What we do, and I'm going to give you, this is really quick, and I'm boring the hell out of you, I know, but what we do is a quick 101 of, we want to be able to work with people in this area that could never normally afford to do it in other venues. So, because we believe in working with businesses to build up business in the state of Wisconsin, it's our backyard. It's where we play. And if we can help other people along the way and help, spread the word about them, and small business owners and even big businesses, but small business owners specifically want to, they help us. They're the backbone, man. And in today's economy, especially, they're the backbone. So, maybe we charge everybody an extra $1,000, but there might be some people that just might not be able to afford to do that. So, but I'd love to. I'm not turning you down because I just don't want to go. I'm just saying it's not the easiest of trips. That's all. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. Anthony says, excited about the Packers season. Are you going to be heading down to Chicago again this year? Bet your ass we will be. We're going to go down there. We're going to breathe in that secondhand smoke, get a little ganja high, maybe head off to a couple of different venues, hang out with a few fans down there, do the postgame show over at the Shy Bar inside the Sheridan Grand River Walk down there. You better believe it. Better believe it. We're going to be there. And, I hope, because remember, and my affinity for Soldier Field, because there's only going to be a few more times that I'm going to be able to actually go there and broadcast from that craptastic facility. Maybe 3-4 more years before they finally get into whatever new venue it is that's going to open up for them. So, yeah, I'm not going to miss a trip to Chicago. That ain't going to happen. So we'll be there. Absolutely, we'll be there. This one's from Kendall. Kendall says, hey, guys. He says, I look at the Packers' record. I think 11 wins and 6 losses might win the division. Do you think they're going to beat Detroit this year for the division crown? If so, that means they host at least 1 or 2 games at Lambeau Field. Well, I mean, I would hope 11 wins would get you the division. It's going to be close. I'm not taking anything away from Detroit. Detroit, they didn't do anything splashy. Detroit solidified their secondary in the first round of the draft. They needed secondary help. That was a big emphasis of concern for them. Jared Goff is a quality quarterback, and Jared, if you want to talk about some of the most underrated quarterbacks in the NFL, Jared Goff might lead the list. Jared Goff and Brock Purdy. And the reason I say Brock Purdy is because Brock Purdy comes with almost what I call the yeah, but syndrome. Brock Purdy, when he's talked about as being a quality quarterback, it's always, yeah, but look at the guys around him. Yeah, but he's got Deebo Samuel. Yeah, but he's got Kittle. Yeah, but he's got McCaffrey. Yeah, but he's got Shanahan scheming for him. I mean, it's a horse crap argument. It really is. I mean, because then why wasn't Garoppolo more successful? Why wasn't Trey Lance more successful? He doesn't get nearly the credit he deserves. If there's 2 quarterbacks that lead the disrespect title, it's probably those 2. Because we don't talk about Jared Goff hardly at all when it comes to quality quarterbacks. Josh Allen gets all the credit. He has not done as much in the NFC or as much in the AFC as Jared Goff has done in the NFC. Jared Goff's been to an NFC championship game and he's been to a Super Bowl. He still doesn't get credit. So you cannot discount Detroit because you just go, wow. And Dan Campbell, look, I know, and Elliot just says, well, Dan Campbell's kind of a big thug idiot. But he gets guys to play for him. I don't care. I don't care what his methodology is as long as it gets the results. And that's what he's getting. He's getting the results, right? So if you get the results, who the hell cares how you get from point A to point B? Now, granted, now if you're, beating people up in a room to get them to perform for you and the culture is terrible, that's one thing. I get it. But beyond that, no, he's a hell of a coach. He does gamble, and the gambles cost him. But let's be honest, between you and me, they don't get to an NFC Championship game without the gambles that he took last year. The same way Doug Peterson, he was one of the foremost coaches on going forward for 4th and short. Look at what Sirianni has done with Philadelphia. They consider themselves 3 down and 9 yards because they're always going to go for it on 4th and short, right? They take gambles, and it's paid off, and it's got them notoriety because of it. So I don't put take anything away from Dan Campbell. I think he's a hell of a coach, and I think the people that criticize, you look at him, early on when he talked about a big ball of knives and biting your kneecaps and all that kind of stuff, you're like, what? But I think deep down inside, we were all like, oh yeah, that guy's football, man. That guy's what it's all about. He's football. So I don't think he gets nearly enough credit as a head coach. But if you want to talk about underrated quarterbacks in the National Football League, there's underrated and overrated. I think Dak Prescott, way overrated. Way overrated. I think, if you start to go through this whole list, I think Matthew Stafford is somewhat underrated. I think Matthew Stafford gets more praise than Jared Goff does. And Matthew Stafford, he has won a Super Bowl. You give him credit. But I think Jared Goff is just as good, if not a better quarterback. I don't think Matthew Stafford was the magic elixir. I think Von Miller was. I think OBJ was. Had they kept Jared Goff and put the same personnel around him that Matthew Stafford had, Whitworth anchoring your offensive line, I think Jared Goff wins a championship too. Wholeheartedly. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Yeah, Max, he says, who else would you consider overrated in the National Football League? This is going to, if anybody down the hall inside the Midwest Family Broadcast Building is listening, namely Randy Hawk, our Director of Network Ops, I think Josh Allen is, until he gets to a Super Bowl and proves himself. I think he's played up and down way too often. He's got the ability to be really, really good. But at times the game escapes him. I think he's a little overrated. Jalen Hurts. I thought his coming out party was his Super Bowl year, and what he did as a leader last year, down the stretch specifically, my last vision of him is sitting alone with no one talking to him on the bench as they went down in flames last year to end the season and in the postseason. It was just a pathetically bad look. And I thought, okay, was the Jalen Hurts that we were criticizing prior to the Super Bowl year the real Jalen Hurts, or was it the Super Bowl year Jalen Hurts? And I think then what we saw last year was, go back to the prior to the Super Bowl year Jalen Hurts. Now we'll see what he does this year with Saquon Barkley in the backfield, because they picked him up in the offseason. I think Deshaun Watson is overrated. He started to play better before he ended up with the injury that ended his season last year, but he still hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything close to earning that contract. He is all money, all dollar signs, all pain in the ass, and Cleveland it just makes my heart sing to watch them just eat that contract and have him sit on their roster. I really do. Underrated, Baker Mayfield. Look at what he did last year. Got out of Cleveland, got a different setting, got a bit of a rejuvenation with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He could be considered an underrated quarterback coming into the season. Boy, that's a great question. Trying to think who else.
I'd like to throw Kyler Murray. I think he can be underrated. I think he's underrated.
You think he's underrated? I think he's a horse's ass.
I'm very interested to see how he plays this. This is the make or break season for him.
Yes.
But I personally am high on him. I'm not saying top 10 quarterback, but I think he can surprise some people.
The problem with him is, Austin, he's never had a complete year. He's played either really good in the first half or really good in the second half,
Exactly.
or he's been banged up. He has never put a full year together. And the problem I have with it was he had 2 years that were half seasons where he looked really good, and in the other half he looked really bad or got hurt, and then demanded all the money. And then he got paid, and then he hasn't really played anything since because of injuries. So I agree with you that, I mean, he's got talent. There's no doubt about that. But he's one of those guys that I keep thinking of Bull Durham, the movie Bull Durham in my head, where he's got the $1 million arm and the 10-cent head. And that to me is Kyler Murray until he proves me otherwise. So I agree with you 100% that this is a prove-it year for Kyler Murray. He's got to show him something. Otherwise, you're going to just sit there with just a whole mouthful of money and regret for signing him to that big-time deal, without a doubt. Most overrated and underrated. Good topic. Let's do this. We'll step out. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. We are broadcasting live. We are down here at the Potawatomi Hotel Casino. Oh, my God. What a tremendous, tremendous place down here. I love this place at the Sportsbook, and I can't even begin to tell you enough about it. It is just beautiful. Beautiful down here. What they did. The screen here, by the way, and I got to get the dynamics of this thing for when they built this, but the screen here has got to be, it's got to be as big as the screen at Jerry World. It's got to be. It's huge. Got to be a 37,000 square foot kitchen for this place. That's how big this place is. It's an amazing, amazing venue. And I've been sitting here going over the fact sheet all day. I got to find out how big this screen is. I'll find out. I'll do it during the break because right now I'm a horse's ass for even reading this while I'm on the air. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Veterans America, part of Provisor. Provisor's been around a long time as a mortgage company. And whether it's refinancing or your first mortgage, second mortgage, whatever it happens to be, they can help you out. However, one of the things about Veterans America is James Mercado said, hey, I need something specifically for veterans and military members because they are losing out on a lot of governmental entities and entitlements that they have. And they're just nobody really knows. So he had this offshoot called Veterans America where just those people that work for that particular segment work on VA loans with different credit requirements and all the different loopholes that you got to maneuver through. And they do it better than anybody. They do it better than a lot of the credit unions that are based for veterans. So if you're looking for somebody that good, that knows the system, I mean, man, oh man, you got to give them a call. Absolutely got to give them a call because they're good people. Call them 262-255-2000, 262-255-2000. They got a new phone number, 262-255-2000. I'll replace it over on the webpage coming up here shortly. But 262-255-2000. If you're a veteran, a military member, get what you deserve and own the land you defend. Get what you deserve. 262-255-2000. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Hard to find. Streets stone. Modern warriors. Satellite horses of chrome. Taste the wild.
Good to have you back. The Bill Michaels Show. We are live. We are inside Potawatomi Hotel Casino at the Sportsbook. And oh my goodness, what a beautiful place this is. Just absolutely positively love it here. So thanks to everybody that has already swung by and said hello and stopped in for a couple of minutes and then took back off again. But that's okay. We're here. We're enjoying ourselves, and that's what it's all about. But also got to say thanks to our friends at Great Lakes Dragaway. Great Lakes Dragaway down in Union Grove, Wisconsin, the oldest continuously operating track in the world, and also a stop on our motorcycle ride this year. Coming up on Sunday, September 1st. And Roy and the gang down at Great Lakes Dragaway, they said, hey, we want to be a part of it, want to be a part of the charity. Freaking-lutely. Kudos to them. And we are going to bring our entire ride down there. All 1,500 plus people at some point are going to swing by Great Lakes Dragaway in Union Grove. But if you want to check out everything that they have to offer, go to GreatLakesDragaway.com. They still have 2024 season passes on sale too. GreatLakesDragaway.com. That's GreatLakesDragaway.com. Good to have everybody on board. And I see over there in the corner of my eye that are watching over my shoulder. We got bowling on. I haven't watched bowling in forever. They got bowling on here you can bet on. Watching Tiger Woods right now on the PGA. I don't know what's on the other channel. We got something else going on. We got PGA going on behind us. There is lacrosse happening right now, professional lacrosse. There is beach volleyball. There is golf, obviously, some of the replays of the games from yesterday. But, oh, my God, they've got sports shows on, tennis on, lacrosse on. It's amazing. So we got all kinds of stuff. This place is incredible. Just an incredible venue. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Okay, talking about overrated. Overrated quarterbacks and underrated quarterbacks. I talked about specifically underrated-wise was Jared Goff, just because we were talking about the Detroit Lions and getting ready for the upcoming season and the schedule coming out and what the Lions have to offer. But Justin Herbert with the Chargers would be another one when you talk about, because Dak Prescott to me is one of the most overrated. I had a couple of people say, what about Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins is another one. I would agree with. Kirk had a hell of a season a couple of years ago and then ended up throwing some relatively bad passes against the Giants and wasn't able to bring. Now, granted, it wasn't all him because the defense couldn't hold him at the end, and Daniel Jones actually proved to be solid in that game, and that's what ultimately got Daniel Jones's contract. But Kirk Cousins has one playoff win to his name. One. That's it. And all the money he's made and all the contracts that have been guaranteed and the teams that he's been on. Now, granted, he toiled away in anonymity for a long time in Washington, but they had some pretty solid teams in Minneapolis. One playoff win. So, I don't think so. Chris says, what about Trevor Lawrence? We were talking about Kyler Murray before. This is kind of a prove-it year for Trevor Lawrence too. Now, Trevor Lawrence a couple of seasons ago was able to guide Jacksonville with the tutelage of Doug Peterson into the postseason. Trevor Lawrence started off a little behind the eight ball because of Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer was a train wreck as an NFL head coach. Terrible situation. So you could probably say Trevor Lawrence, but I don't put it all on him because he basically, a couple of years ago was like his rookie season. So last year he got banged up. They got, you don't want to use injuries as an excuse, but they had a lot of injuries. So they made it to the postseason in back-to-back years for Jacksonville. So I'm going to give him one more season before I go to the overrated side of things. Darren says, what about Russell Wilson overrated? Oh God, yeah. At this point, yes. And how much of Russell Wilson was Legion of Boom? That defense that he had behind him. He was a tremendous player. I don't want to take that away from him, but it's easy to go out and play on the run when you can make mistakes and you've got that defense behind you, but he played extremely well. He did. He played extremely well. No doubt. Kevin says, I vote again, Kyler Murray. We were talking about that. Yes. But Herbert, Justin Herbert, every year we keep hearing about how he's just this top-notch quarterback. And now, you know what? Here's the thing. He ended up with a terrific head coach for that because, as much as I can't stand Harbaugh, everywhere he's gone, he's been able to make something out of the quarterbacks that he's had. So I'm really anxious to see what they do. Now, San Diego, in a bit of a financial tussle right now. They had to, cut loose one of their top wide receivers, but I want to see what he does with Justin Herbert and remaking that team. And defensively, last year, they were a train wreck. So I want to see what he does too. So let's do this. We're going to step out. We'll take a quick break when we come back. Ryan Wood, Green Bay Press Gazette's going to join us. Ryan's going to talk with us about, the upcoming season, the schedule that was released yesterday for the Green Bay Packers and his thoughts. We are broadcasting live. We are at Potawatomi Hotel Casino. Look at that. Look at that down below. Beautiful, beautiful place. That place the screen is just enormous. And like I said, if you look at the screen and you think about it in its sheer amount of size, it's got to be as big as the one at Jerry World. Got to be. If not, it's just a tick smaller, but man, that thing's huge. And then you put it inside a venue like this as opposed to a 100,000 seat stadium. Oof, massive. Good stuff. Stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to come back. Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press Gazette going to join us next on the Bill Michaels Show.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Jeff Levering and wife Ashley love their patio door from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It's so bright. It's so clear. I can see the kids outside playing, and it makes it comfortable for the life we live, which is an active one.
I love the roll screen. The fact that the screen is on the inside.
For the first time, our whole house actually feels like the same climate.
And no drafts. It's a game changer.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. And if you order today, you get 0% interest for up to 48 months. When it comes to replacing or upgrading your windows and doors, you want to be confident about your decisions. With Pella Design Works, you can see what your home could look like before you buy. Black frame windows or white, vinyl, wood, or fiberglass. Bring your vision to life and rest assured it's the perfect style for your home. Right now, get 0% interest-free financing for up to 48 months when you order by May 31st. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. That's 5/31/2024.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program, The Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. We are broadcasting live, as you can see via the screen there, Potawatomi Hotel Casino and inside the sportsbook. Oh, my God, this place is amazing, beautiful. And we want to do this for the opener. When the Packers go to Brazil, we want to come here. That's for damn sure. We'd love to be here for that adventure. And hopefully we can make it happen. I'm looking forward to it if we can, because this would be a great venue to do it. The schedule released yesterday. Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette joining us in Packers News and such, joining us on the hotline. Ryan, how you doing today, man?
You know what? I'm doing good, Bill. But just the fact that I'm talking to you, you're inside a casino and I'm not. I'm a little jealous.
Have you been here to see this thing since they opened it?
I haven't, but I keep hearing you talk. I need to. Shoot, I should have driven down. We should have done this in person.
It's if you get a chance, follow me on YouTube real quick, and I've got the cameras pointed downstairs. This is when we were in Vegas for Super Bowl this past year. Grant spent more time in the sports books than I did, but we walked around, we saw him. This is as nice or nicer than every one of the sports books I saw in Vegas. And I'm not kidding. I'm not blowing it up because they're a sponsor or anything like that. I mean, I'd say, hey, it's cool, whatever. But this is just amazing, this venue. And the television screens they have here, the whole screen together is, I believe, it's as big, if not bigger, than the screens from the 20 to the 20 or 30 to the 30 at Jerry World. It's huge.
Oh, man.
Huge.
I'm there. I'm there.
So,
you don't got to tell me anymore. I am there. That sounds great.
So let me ask you this. The schedule dropped yesterday. You talk about being favorable. Granted, the strength of schedule, we can get into all of that, but do you like it the way it kind of sets up for the Packers?
Well, it's funny. It's other than that one caveat, right? The strength of schedule, which is not favorable. I mean, let's start there because only 2 of their opponents had fewer than 7 wins last season. Like there's 6 that had double-digit wins, 6 playoff teams. One of them that's not a playoff team had a winning record is the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle at night, which the only reason the Seattle Seahawks were in the playoffs last year is they lost a strength of victory tiebreaker to the Packers. Kind of interesting to remember that's how the Packers got into the playoffs last year. But I mean, that's another playoff caliber team. This is a tough schedule, and I go back to Matt LaFleur saying this year is going to be completely different than last year. At the onset of this offseason, the expectations are different. Well, the schedule is different too. Right? This is going to be a formidable schedule and a great test for this team that I think is very good. I think that this is a young, talented, rising Packers team with Jordan Love, but it doesn't, straight out of the gate, you've got a long trip to Brazil, which, yeah, you can say the Packers caught a break here because it's a lot better than playing the Eagles in Philly, but it's still a long trip against not only a good Eagles team, but an Eagles team that's is going to come into 2024 ticked off and motivated and trying to prove right out the gate that calamity of a collapse last season wasn't them. So there's a lot of breaks that they did get, but at the end of the day, it's who you play. They're playing some formidable opponents. It's going to be fun to watch.
You and I have not really kind of broke down the roster since they added their draft, but what do you think of the draft and the depth on this team now?
I think that Brian Gutekunst went about creating a whole lot of competition, and in some ways are obvious, right? The offensive line, and when you've got 3 offensive linemen who are quality players, right? Elton Jenkins, Zach Tom, and a first-round pick in Jordan Morgan that can play just about anywhere. In the case of Elton Jenkins and Zach Tom, can play all 5. Okay, Jordan Morgan's not a center, but he's either a left tackle, right tackle, left guard, or right guard. We got 3 quality players that can play, have that kind of versatility. You're giving lip service to best 5. Like a lot of teams say best 5, but what it really is okay, what's our best left tackle, our best left guard all down the line? You just plug them in and that's our best 5. No, you're actually saying who's the best 5 players and put them where they can have a configuration to give us our best 5. The Packers have taken that next step there. They have to see it play out, right? Jordan Morgan has to be a good player and has to come in, and they're going to start him at left tackle as they should when you're in the first round college left tackle. But I think the competition they created there, they created competition, obviously, at safety, next to Xavier McKinney. That's going to be fascinating to watch. There's competition certainly at the linebacker level in their base 4-3. Who's that third linebacker? I don't know at this point. Obviously, the starting battery and nickel's going to be Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper, but there's competition there. There's competition at backup quarterback, which when you're a contending team is not a throwaway position, because what if Jordan Love does get hurt for a few weeks? You need to have some guy come in and carry the water on offense and give your team a chance for that time. It's good to have competition there. So it's what Brian Gutekunst created, and it's going to be a fascinating training camp to watch.
I'm excited about the depth. The offensive line to me is intriguing. If Jordan Morgan is good enough to become your starting left tackle, how does that, because you would assume then it only messes with one position. But if it's not, do you move guys like Zach Tom around? Is Josh Myers the best center to have out there? You know what I mean? You start talking about Sean Ryan and Elton Jenkins, and how many positions are you going to move to actually put the best five on the offensive line where it really, to me, it all starts? You know what I mean?
I think it's a domino effect created by this personnel department, starting with Brian Gutekunst, to create competition to get the best five pieces in the right place. And it does start at left tackle between Jordan Morgan and Rasheed Walker. But either Jordan Morgan and Rasheed Walker, whoever loses that competition, can immediately slide over into a right tackle competition with Zach Tom, who is a quality right tackle. And I think two things about this coaching staff when it comes to the offensive line. I think they really like Zach Tom at right tackle, and they really like Josh Myers at center. The gap between Packers coaches and Packers fan base on the evaluation of Josh Myers at center is huge. Inside the building, this coaching staff sees Josh Myers as the prototypical communicator that can handle the center position, which is the anchor of the offensive line, and does all those things at a very, very high level, which makes Jordan Love more comfortable, and it makes it's cohesion throughout the unit. So this whole idea of Zach Tom moving to center, I think it's fascinating because Zach Tom's not dumb. He is a very smart, intelligent guy, and he knows that the market, if you're a quality right tackle, is not what it is at center. Okay, he can be a Hall of Fame center. He's not getting paid like a quality right tackle as a Hall of Fame center. That's not what the market is. The only way that you can really easily get Zach Tom to move inside, if that's the long-term play, is the competition. Is, okay, now the snaps are inside. Now to play and be on the field, because there's a better right tackle here. You've got to move inside. So seeing that competition unfold and what that might mean, maybe not this year for Josh Myers, but long-term, that's all going to start to play out this offseason, especially in camp.
I like the defense. I like what they've done. I like how they kind of manipulated things to say we've got versatile guys. They can make a corner a safety, a linebacker. They can bring them from different areas. Listening to Hafley, I know they want to be better in the trenches and they want to be more stout. But, it all starts with the signing of Xavier McKinney, and it's a trickle-out factor from there. I think they, and again, knock on wood, but if Stokes is healthy and can play close to what he did during his rookie season, I think that may end up being one of the best secondaries in football. Do you agree?
I think that the cornerback position specifically is built on a lot of what ifs. That, if all these what ifs pan out, this is the makings of a very good secondary, a very good corner position. But you start with Jair Alexander. What if he returns to form that we all know he can be, that he showed in Dallas this past season as a true number one corner, an elite coverage guy, and he leaves last year behind him. He stays healthy and all the shenanigans, the suspension. What if he does that? Okay, that's good. What if Carrington Valentine builds on a really impressive rookie season for a 7th-round pick and doesn't have that sophomore slump, especially as a 7th-round pick, right? What if he goes out and those 850 snaps he played last year, he's even better this year? What if Keyshawn Nixon has found the coaching staff to get the best out of Keyshawn Nixon? Because depending on which Keyshawn Nixon you saw in the slot last year, you saw a really good nickel corner, or you saw a guy that was missing a ton of tackles and giving up a lot of blown coverages. So finding consistency there, what if he finds that? And then with Eric Stokes, what if Eric Stokes can actually do what – it's a monumental task. He's barely played in a year and a half. As a young player, to lose that kind of time in your development and to get back not only healthy but to football shape and stay on the field at a high level – there's a big what if there. But if he does that, they're in good shape. So Brian Gutekunst is placing his bets on a lot of what ifs in the cornerback room, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how many of those land for him.
I like the team as a whole, and I'm excited about this. And we were talking about this earlier about how to avoid what they went through last year and kind of the midseason, dump, so to speak. And it's different because you're coming in this year. If you're Jordan Love, you've already got the swagger. You're still a little bit of an unknown because you had a great second half of the season. You got off to a fine start, but the mid portion of the season was a little bit up and down. But I think to me, more than anything, this is that familiarity. You've got guys that have been there, done that now together. You had the wide receivers that got together and said, okay, we need to be familiar with one another. We need to understand the offense. You've got a solidified offensive line for the most part, you believe. Now you've got a little bit quicker and younger running back in Josh Jacobs, but still with a familiar face in A.J. Dillon. I think offensively they're already very much ahead of the game than what they were last year. Do you agree?
I mean, it's really hard to overstate just how different it was a year ago, right? They couldn't build an offense last year because it was almost exactly 1 year ago. They didn't know who the tight ends were going to be. They didn't know half the receiving room. They had a brand new quarterback that they didn't know the skill set that was going to be around. How do you conjoin that? Like, how do you conceptualize that without ever seeing it and having question marks in literal positions? Now they have the intel. They know what they've got to work with, and they can build off of the last 2 months. They can start to make certain riffs on, okay, we like this. Let's add to it. Let's do more. And that's going to be huge. You know, we talked about the schedule. It's so similar in the setup that it was last year. When we looked at last year's schedule a year ago, we said, okay, they got to get their wins early because they're going to take their lumps late, right? They got the Kansas City Chiefs. They got Justin Herbert. They've got at Detroit on Thanksgiving. They're going to take – and it was the opposite of that. They took their lumps early, and then they beat these teams no one expected late. This schedule's kind of the same way, right? There's a tough stretch in November with the 49ers, the Dolphins, on the road in Detroit. They've got to get their wins early, and I think that they can. But just the fact that they can build on offense in a way they weren't able to a year ago, the reason why they didn't take advantage of that last year, they were trying to figure out who they were.
Right.
They know who they are now. They should be able to go into the season a heck of a lot hotter and in much better rhythm than they did a year ago.
I agree with you. I'm the only area that I think we all have maybe a question mark over regarding this team is the depth that's going to create better special teams. And then obviously I love Rich Bisaccia that said, I don't know what the rules are. I couldn't tell you. I love the fact that even your special teams coordinator, which I think he's throwing some BS out there, but to say, hey, I don't even know how this is going to look. We don't have a clue as of yet. We haven't put everybody together. That's the only area that I can see. I mean, obviously we're talking about kickoffs and kickoff returns, but that's the only area that I can see being somewhat different or shaded on this team that isn't where your depth would be directly impacted as to how good those particular units could be, you know?
Well, first of all, how about Rich Bisaccia essentially penning a love poem to the kickoff? I mean, you want to talk about a man that deeply, deeply loves the kickoff. And there's a reason why the Packers were one of, I think, 3 teams to vote against the kickoff change.
Right.
And a lot of that is because Rich Bisaccia is in love with that play, but that's a good thing. Like that's why you're a career special teams coordinator. I thought it was fascinating to see that genuine affection that he has for that play that most of us just like don't even look at. Like, okay, it's time to grab a beer, time to take a restroom break. It's the kickoff. No, like this man loves that play. But as he said, everyone's on equal playing field now with this new kickoff. Like it's new for everybody. So in a way, you're going to find out who's good at teaching and who's not. And that's going to be fascinating to watch. It helps that they have Keyshawn Nixon. As far as the kicking competition, it's absolutely a competition. Like there should be no one out there that looks at this and says, are they really serious? They are going to do everything. They know who they are now. They didn't know who they were a year ago. They far exceeded their own expectations. They didn't see a year ago. They didn't see the season ending in the NFC divisional round in Jordan Love's first year. Now they're thinking Super Bowl because they think that they have that type of team. They know they're not going to surprise themselves. What's the biggest thing that can keep you away from that? They saw it last year. Missed kicks in the fourth quarter of playoff games. Like you cannot have that. And I think they're aware of that. They know that the disaster of last year can't be repeated at any cost. And so this is absolutely a true competition. It's going to go through the very end of training camp. And they are hell or high water. They are bound and determined to find the right kicker for this team.
Ryan, great stuff as always. And now, are you going to Brazil?
Yeah, I would not schedule it yet, but that's the plan is to be down there. That's going to be that's different than London. I mean, it's going to be a different trip. So there's a whole lot of logistics that we're figuring out. But yeah, that's the plan to be down.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, because if not, we're going to do the post-game show and a watch party from here inside the sports book. and I would make you one of the VIPs if you decide to stay home and you can't go. You would be our guest, so that way you could come down here and check out the sportsbook.
Well, that does sound fantastic. Yeah, that's the problem with always trying to. There's all these fun events that are always happening around Packers games that I miss out on. You know how it is being in the press box. I'm just tunnel vision on the field. All this cool stuff's happening, and I never get to be a part of it. But no, thank you for the invite, and that sounds like an incredible event.
I only throw the offer out because Brazil is a trip that a lot of people raise an eyebrow at as far as expense goes, and I know how it is in the media industry when it comes to expense. So if you don't go, you end up here, and if you do go, then we'll talk to you right after the game, okay?
All right. Take care, Bill.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later. There you go. Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press Gazette joining us for a couple of minutes from PackersNews.com. You can read his stuff there. And at by Ryan Wood over on Twitter, at by Ryan Wood. We're going to step out, take a quick break. We are broadcasting live down here at this beautiful facility that is the Sportsbook inside Potawatomi Hotel Casino. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Point Brewing. Point Brewing coming up this weekend. They have got their big block party. If you're looking for good music and all these different types of brews that they have and all the stuff that they're putting out for the summer, you got to go to Stevens Point, Wisconsin, and check out our friends at Point Brewing. Brewing excellence since 1857.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
BetOnline.ag is one of our people. That's who we've done. Now I also work with Jimmy Shapiro. I don't know if you're familiar with him. Jimmy's. Welcome back to the program, The Bill Michaels Show. We are live. We are inside the Potawatomi Hotel Casino Sportsbook, an amazing, amazing facility here. We're going to talk more about that coming up here in just a little bit. Justin Arnett is going to join us just after the top of the hour to kind of give us a lowdown as to what this whole place entails. Today, if you're going to do some grilling, by the way, I want to make sure that you go to Robert's Specialty Meats in Waukesha. Just because the Brewers aren't at home and you're not going to be doing any tailgating does not mean it's not going to be a grilling weekend. The weather looks to be spectacular over on Saturday and Sunday specifically. But Potawatomi Hotel Casino is where we're at. And when I head home, I'm going to do some grilling, going to have a little bit of fun. I got a wedding this weekend, but I know that at some point, probably Sunday evening, there's going to be a lot of grilling with an Al Capone roast in my future out in the back patio. They're on Sunset Drive in Waukesha. And for all your tailgating fare and needs, you can stop by there, pick up Robert's Specialty Meats. And it's at robertspecialtymeatswaukesha.com. And by the way, they do a lot of catering too. So if you need something for a golf outing, if you need something for brought in, say, for your employees, or, you just want to have it off Friday for a work event or something, or a wedding, whatever it happens to be, they can do it. That is robertspecialtymeatswaukesha.com, robertspecialtymeatswaukesha.com. Coming up after the top of the hour, we're going to find out more about this amazing facility where I'm trying to do everything I possibly can to needle people here to say, hey, we want to do something for the Brazil game. And we want to bring VIPs and guests and listeners and all that kind of stuff. And we want to throw one hell of a party. That's what we're all about. So we're going to, because Mike Clemens is probably going to be in Brazil covering it for us. So we'll get Mike there. And if not, Mike and I will be here. And we'll do a watch party and kind of go from there. But this, I love this place. If it had a cot up here, I would stay here all the time. So coming up, we're going to do that. Also, we got Dick Girardi coming up in a little bit from NBC Sports and has been doing horse racing a long time. We're going to talk about the Preakness. That's upcoming as well, and talk about some of the horses, some of the odds like we did going into the Kentucky Derby. So that's going to be on the docket as well. 2 hours down, 2 hours yet to go. Don't go anywhere. Got about a minute and a half, and then we're going to be right back. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers are headed down to Houston today. It's where they're going to open up a series against the Astros tomorrow. Milwaukee just got done taking 2 of 3 from Pittsburgh. That included a 10-2 win yesterday when they hit 5 home runs. That included a 2-run shot by rookie Jackson Chourio, one of the top prospects in baseball coming into this year. It hasn't been smooth sailing for Chourio, batting just .219, but manager Pat Murphy said the experience he's gaining is big, and he's seen some growth of late.
Big leagues is tough, man. There's lessons to be learned, and he's making those steps. He's doing it better than I've seen a lot of young players do it. And for being only 20, I mean, he's went through his struggle now. Looks like he's gaining some confidence this month. Yeah, it's exciting. That swing, that gets exciting what he can do.
The Brewers head to Houston sitting at 26-17, first place in the NL Central by 1.5 games on the Cubs. Turning to the NBA, Bucks could be looking to add one of their former stars to their coaching staff. NBA insider Mark Stein reporting that Doc Rivers plans to make an aggressive push to hire Sam Cassell to his staff. Cassell is on the Celtics staff right now, but worked under Rivers at 2 other stops. Cassell also reportedly in the mix for the Lakers head coaching job.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
All business owners want the same thing, to make their business succeed. At Rural Mutual, they help that happen. As the 3rd largest writer of commercial business in Wisconsin, they take the time to learn your business so they can properly protect you. Call your local agent today or visit ruralmutual.com.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the NFL released its schedule last night for the Packers. It includes 5 standalone national TV games, including 4 straight in late November and early December. Green Bay will continue their offseason program next week as the first of 3 weeks of OTAs get going. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil, Pitt.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Bill Michaels Show, and we are live. We're at Potawatomi Hotel Casino inside the sports book. This amazing facility, and we're glad to be here. And it's been a long time in the making. I'll tell you that right now. But it's fun. It's fun to be here. I'm here with Justin Arnett. What is your title? Let's get you on here. Hang on a second. There we go.
You can hear me?
Now we got you. Yeah.
Excellent. So my title is VP of Digital Gaming. So
okay,
I'm at top of the. I still run the sports book. That's where I come from. That's my world. But I'm looking forward to the future. We're looking to build a mobile app and stuff. So they gave me that title. Because I got more stuff under my more responsibilities. But it's all good.
It sounds bigger and more important.
It does kind of sound fancy. I'm not very fancy, but it sounds fancy.
My first ask is this video board bigger than the one they have in Jerry World?
I doubt it. That thing goes from
it's from the
40 to 40 or something. It's like 40 yards.
But this thing
120 feet wide.
Yeah.
It's 18 feet tall. So it's like it's bigger than my apartment. It's it's like 2160 square feet. If you think of it like that, it's pretty big footprint.
That's because it's massive.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking 40 yards is a pretty good distance, but this room is at least 40 yards long.
It's pretty big.
And considering that the ends of this thing are kind of curved, I'm thinking if you flatten this whole thing out, it's got to be about that big.
It's pretty big. Yeah. We curved it to make fit the space. And so all this, we wanted to make it a good viewing experience for pretty much wherever we're at in the room. And yeah.
And I know it's been well received. I know you guys have already been shoulder to shoulder for some of the UFC fights that you've had in here and everything. And Brewers games always have crowds and such.
Absolutely.
So how has it been since it opened? Because it's only been open a while. What, a week and a half?
We're about 2 weeks. I think 2 weeks tomorrow, I think is what we're at. But it's been great. We've got the heavyweight title fight this weekend.
Yeah.
The Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk fight. I think that's going to be packed. I'm a boxing guy, so I'm pretty excited for it.
Now, where did you come from? Were you from here originally?
No. I moved here to help build this stuff. I'm a longtime sports betting guy. I'm a Vegas guy, really.
Okay.
I was 15 years in Vegas. So
then
a couple stops along the way after PASPA was repealed. That's the legislation that was keeping sports betting out of the rest of the country.
Yeah.
So I've had a couple stops and then ended up here, and I really love it here. I hope it works out that I stay here.
The couple of things that I really appreciate about this place, as we sit here and talk about it, is I know you guys are going to make change. You just opened it. It's got this new smell to it, and you're already talking about making changes.
Yeah,
things that don't fit right.
Absolutely. There's a lot of, we still have some of the furniture yet to come in. We want to get it open, right? So we're tweaking little things. We're going to improve this balcony a little bit. Some of the furniture is going to change. Got a few tech tricks up our sleeve that we want to integrate into the LED board and things like that. But we're pretty much there, just little improvements all the time.
The food is really good.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that you go to sports books, it's bar food, you know, and this isn't. You guys actually have a pretty solid menu.
They killed it. Yeah. So, they made a conscious decision it's not something that we're going to make a lot of money on. They have premium, it's like organic chicken and, all premium products. And the price point doesn't quite match what the cost is. So I think they're looking at it as a little bit of a loss leader. We just want to get people in the space. We really wanted to do something. We want to be the hub for the sports fan. We just if you love sports, have it on all day. It's just that it's a place you want to be. Good food and just hang out, beer.
It's comfortable. I was downstairs. I sat in a couple of the chairs, and you could sit there all day.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like some places want to roll tables. Yeah. This place is like, no, come and stay. If you want to stay here all day and you're doing your thing, come and stay all day.
Absolutely. And it's a little tricky because it is a little bit of a restaurant. So some of the tables we want to try and have for people that are trying to dine, but at the end of the day, our primary concern is for people to be comfortable being in the space. So Yeah.
I
There's a
know-
lot of seats that are just for it. No, it doesn't
Right.
matter. You're a sports fan.
Right.
That's it. Right.
Yeah. Well, you've got like the sleep dream loungers downstairs that you see in a movie theater.
Yeah, they're nice.
Gonna have to wake a few people up to leave.
And we've got new ones coming in for some of them, actually.
Yeah,
So
which is awesome.
We've still got more coming.
So talk about the upstairs, because for those that don't know, this is 2 stories, and the upstairs is a kind of a VIP area.
That's right.
That leads down to the radio studio here that we're in right now. But that being said, you built it and you looked at it and you went, we're gonna make it better.
Yeah,
You know?
we're working.
We're
on
gonna
some
more
changes.
we're gonna VIP it up.
Yeah, exactly. Make it extremely comfortable. I mean, when you're out in that space, and I'm sure you've already seen it when you were out there, the view is just incredible. So we want to make a prime spot. Like if, get some of the guys together, and if you're buyout for like March Madness, it's going to be the spot, or maybe corporate buyouts. We have a bar back there with, we can cater food to it. We've got like warmers and everything. It's a good spot to host parties.
It's a private
groups.
space that gives you complete autonomy from everything downstairs.
Exactly. We want it to just be an elite space, right? You get the guys together. If you have an event, maybe a fantasy football buyout or something like that. I think it would be good for those kind of events.
Yeah. So this obviously was a long time in coming, because you kept pushing the date back and pushing the date back, and I was here during construction and watched it kind of come together. I mean, this was what, a year and a half in the making?
Well, I mean, if you want to go through design phase and all that, absolutely. It's a little less than a year of actual
construction.
Construction. Yeah. Construction was maybe 10 months or something.
I know that there was the idea, and hey, we're going to do this. And then by the time it actually, hammered a wall, it's about a year, but it's been a while.
I've been on board about a year and a half. And, I came in with some plans already. I had a hand in like changing some things, tweaking. We're always tweaking things, but that plan was it predates me. So
let's talk about the betting side of things, because obviously we see a lot of different sports that are on here, but when it comes to this is a full service sports book, betting facility, the whole thing. I mean, because a lot of people don't know what the laws are and what it does and doesn't allow, and where you can and can't bet, what you can and can't use, that kind of thing. So here this is like Vegas.
Actually, I would say it's more than most of Vegas. We have a bigger menu than probably anyone in Vegas, as far as, I'm a longtime Vegas guy, so I'm pretty comfortable saying that, but we have, on a typical Brewers game, we might have 350 betting options on one game, right? Like in terms of all the different props and the alternative spreads and totals and all that stuff. We have, a giant menu. And then not only that, I haven't ever counted, but we've got probably hundreds of soccer leagues available. We just started, say, bowling and cycling. I mean, we have table tennis. Table tennis. I mean, we have, we have a huge, and of course the normal stuff, right? Basketball, UFC, boxing, F1, golf, everything.
And now, being a Vegas guy, we were in Vegas for Super Bowl. We were at Mandalay Bay. We'd been through MGM. And I said, and people don't believe me, I said, this is nicer than a lot of the sports books we walk through in Vegas.
I full-heartedly would agree with that. It's wholeheartedly. It's on the short list for sure. There's a couple that are larger. They do a great job at Circa. That's an amazing facility if you haven't been there. It's a bigger screen. I think our space is a little more comfortable and a little more, maybe I feel, maybe it's because it's brand new, but upscale. Maybe I'm biased, but we're on the short list of best places in the country, and there's no doubt about that.
And people don't believe me when I say that. Oh, come on, it's Vegas. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you,
it's better than most of Vegas.
What they've done here at Potawatomi is walking through the casinos and walking just the way it is. I can't even explain it, because when you go to Vegas has been there and that's what they do, and they're good at it, but it's, in some places it's worn. This place, it's not worn. It's like this place just is you don't even know what world you're in when you're inside this place.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they've got some of the shops out there. Maybe some of the AV is a little dated and stuff. Ours is, it's obviously brand new. And I mean, if you look at that row of TVs below the LED wall, those are 85s. Like, they look tiny, right? They look like, but those are 85-inch TVs. I think we have 11 of them down there. And so we really wanted to be, we wanted to, there's not any place in the whole Milwaukee sort of metropolitan
I don't
area.
think there's any place in Wisconsin.
That's probably the case. Yeah. Maybe the Midwest, really. That Wrigley that sports bar. They did a pretty good job with the screen. It's a similar in scope. Ours, I think, is a little better. But as far as the whole
this
shebang,
by far.
I feel like you're going to have to go far and wide to find something that even competes. Really,
between the food, the comfort, the screens, the betting capability. It's a destinational place by far, and just the outside casino is fantastic.
It's important to me, and I'm very fortunate to have a boss, a CEO, who has the same kind of big vision. To just bring something amazing to town, right? We want, if we're going to do it, we wanted to do it right. So
I am so impressed at Rockin' Brews. The band up between the two bars, which is awesome. And then obviously the DJ put up at the 1170 bar, I think is what it is upstairs here. You still got the 360 bar downstairs, which is comfort and everything. But they've done such a great job, and people didn't look at this as an entertainment venue. They always looked at it as, am I going to the casino tonight? Now you can actually say, I can go for a night out. I can get Rockin' Brews. I can listen to music. I can go listen to DJ music. You can come in here and watch games. It's a full service facility.
Oh yeah. We're renovating. If you haven't been in a while, we made major renovations.
Huge.
The third floor is just completely different now. Right? I mean, it's really Vegas style. We're doing now that to the rest of the bottom floor. If you see right outside of the book, there's walls up. There's construction going on. We're facelifting the whole floor.
And over by the main entrance of the hotel too.
We want to make this a premier destination, like a place people come to, right? Not just like the little local hole in the wall type thing. We wanted to be a legitimate spot. So we're making a lot of effort to do that.
Well, it's fantastic. You guys hit a home run. I mean, it's just an amazing space. And, I know you guys are doing more work because I see construction workers with hats on walking around up here. So
never ends.
But just great to meet you. Great to see you. And so I would go check on the date, make sure it's available. And if it is, just write Bill Michaels across the top of the VIP sections. We'll have a big party.
And as far as those VIP things, we're still ironing out the details, how we're going to do that. We have to get like a platform to reserve it. That doesn't quite exist yet. It was important to us to get open. So, we could have waited till we had all the ducks in a row and everything, but we'll get there. I wanted to share this.
You never know that you had more stuff going on behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, which is the way to kind of do it when you open your doors. And you're still, it's kind of like the duck, looking very cool on top, and you're swimming like crazy below the water.
Yeah. I mean, if we waited till it was perfect to get open, we never would have been open. I'm always tweaking.
Right. No doubt. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Justin Arnett joining us down here. Great to talk to you. Great to see you and meet you for the first time. It's been
Absolutely.
Great. Absolutely awesome. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Jeff Levering and wife Ashley love their patio door from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It's so bright. It's so clear. I can see the kids outside playing, and it makes it comfortable for the life we live, which is an active one.
I love the roll screen. The fact that the screen is on the inside.
For the first time, our whole house actually feels like the same climate.
And no drafts. It's a game changer.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. And if you order today, you get 0% interest for up to 48 months. When it comes to replacing or upgrading your windows and doors, you want to be confident about your decisions. With Pella Design Works, you can see what your home could look like before you buy. Black frame windows or white, vinyl, wood, or fiberglass. Bring your vision to life and rest assured it's the perfect style for your home. Right now, get 0% interest-free financing for up to 48 months when you order by May 31st. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. That's 5/31/2024.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. We are with you. We are broadcasting live. We are at Potawatomi Hotel Casino, and you see behind me just the amazing facility we were talking about with Justin Arnett, who is the head of all of this. And what an amazing, amazing facility. So thanks to him for coming in just a little bit. I still think it's probably as big as Jerry World's boards, but he said it might be a little bit smaller. I'm not going to buy that, but might be a little bit smaller. 877-867-1670. We'll talk some horse racing coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Got that coming up, and then kind of go from there. But if you want to chime in, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. And we were talking about overrated and underrated quarterbacks. I know our buddy Randy Hawk, who is kind of the head of all when it comes to Midwest Family Broadcasting. He's a Bills fan. He said Josh Allen is not overrated. Josh Allen has got to get to be on that level. He's got to get to an AFC Championship game and win it. He's a hell of a quarterback. He's just at times he's at times very up and down. And, well, now I'll tell you this. If he has the same season he's had in years past with the same numbers and does not have Stephon Diggs, then he would not be an overrated quarterback. I don't think he would be at that point. But he would be a guy that I would look at as being on the cusp. Austin, would you consider Josh Allen a little overrated?
I don't want to speak too far out of line. Randy is in the same building as me. But I can agree with it to an extent. I think the point that you just said sums it up perfectly. If he has a similar season without Diggs this year, I think he's definitely
right.
You can eliminate him for that conversation.
I mean, his numbers last year at a 92 quarterback rating and threw for 4,300 yards. He was fourth overall in yardage. He had 31 touchdowns, 11 picks. He had double-digit picks last year, and there were times where the picks came in bunches. Fourth best rated quarterback. But what we talk about all the time when some of these quarterbacks get looked at, it's what have you done in the postseason? And for a guy that's got the stature of Josh Allen versus the postseason wins. Now, he has had some epic battles, whether it's going back and forth with Patrick Mahomes, going back and forth with Tom Brady, whatever. He's had some epic, or not Tom Brady. Who was 2 years ago? God, I'm trying to think.
2 years ago, was they beat Mac Jones and the Patriots by like 30 or something.
They drilled them.
Yeah.
And, when you look at the hierarchy of the AFC, you would probably say the best quarterback in the AFC is Patrick Mahomes. Who would be your second? Would it be when he's healthy? Is it Joe Burrow? Because Joe Burrow has had Patrick Mahomes' number.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Burrow or Lamar. I still put Lamar in that conversation.
And that's just it. I mean, without Lamar, Baltimore has still given Cincinnati a run for their money in that division. And then when he came back, they pretty much trounced him at the beginning of the season when Joe Burrow was healthy. So probably Lamar, then Joe Burrow. Do you then go Josh Allen?
Allen, then probably Herbert is what I would say just off the top of my head.
Where do you put Tua? Tua last year threw for 4,600 plus yards and led the league, and he had a quarterback rating of 101.1. So where do we put Tua in?
Yeah, Tua probably the same. I'd put Allen, Tua, Herbert probably similar. Like those are kind of interchangeable. I would put that's like the next tier. I would put Mahomes is tier 1, and like he's the only one there. Then tier 2, Burrow, Lamar. Tier 3, I'd say Allen, Herbert, Tua.
Yeah. I'm trying to think
somewhat
who else.
off the top of my head.
The other guy that people are going to have to start paying attention to is if he has another season like last year, that's going to be C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
C.J. Stroud threw for 4,100 plus yards last year, and his quarterback rating was 100. He was fantastic. So if he does that again, then I think automatically he could vault himself in even the top 3 or 4 in the AFC, depending on what happens.
100%.
But because Justin Herbert last year, I'm trying to pull his numbers up. He had a 93.2 quarterback rating at 3,134 yards, 20 touchdowns, 7 picks on the season. It wasn't by any stretch of the imagination spectacular. His completion percentage was just a tick over 65, which is solid. But every year, don't we feel like we're talking about him being the guy every year, and he just always ends up falling short?
I think, yeah. I mean, he hasn't won a big game yet. You can't.
Right.
There's no huge, big, like that's his moment. That was his game. But the talent is obviously, everyone knows the talent and the numbers they're still there. He just hasn't had that big win yet.
The only other quarterback in the AFC, and we're waiting to see, would be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I was waiting for you to bring him up. Like he's a question mark, to be honest. He's a big question mark there.
Think about the drop-off in the AFC after that. You've got Patrick Mahomes. Then you've got Lamar and Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Tua, C.J. Stroud, who we've all mentioned. And then after that, it just crashes. Now there's Trevor Lawrence, who's on the cusp, depending on which way his season goes. So he's there. We mentioned C.J. Stroud. But after that, you think about the AFC, Gardner Minshew, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, Deshaun Watson, who hasn't done anything, Zach Wilson, Aiden O'Connell, Mac Jones. I mean,
it's not great after that.
No.
There's a steep fall off.
Yeah, it's like, holy crap. It just, now Richardson, depending on what he does, he could end up making a name for himself with Indianapolis, but it just dives. It's just terrible after that when it comes to starting quarterbacks in the AFC. The NFC, we can go on all day, but man, the AFC just drops off. But those 6 teams are the teams that are going to be picked to win a Super Bowl because of the quarterback play, because of the teams they have around them. Although I think I'm going to be anxious to see what happens without Stephon Diggs this year in Buffalo, but because Buffalo is either going to say Stephon Diggs was somewhat of a headache, and was he really a locker room cancer, and did he cause problems and worries and yada yada? Is it that bad, or and they're going to be better without him, or was he the cog in the machine that made it all go? And we're going to find out. By the way, Tiger Woods ended the day 1 over par at the PGA Championship. 1 over par right now. Xander Schauffele 9 under. Tony Finau 6 under. Rory McIlroy 5 under par right now. Tiger 1 over today on the and Scotty Scheffler has not even teed off yet. But Tiger today finishes the round 1 over par, trying to make the cut for the PGA Championship. So at Valhalla down in Louisville, Kentucky. So there you go. Anyway, just kind of sitting here reminiscing about some of the underrated and overrated quarterbacks. Underrated, we went through. Overrated, we kind of discussed. But, we got a lot of people chiming in on this, too. So I want to get to everybody's opinions. I know we've got a lot of people hitting us over on the text line. Rick from Spencer says, Lamar, though, is just like Dak. Good stats, but shrinks in the playoff. The Bills quarterback overrated as well. That's Rick and Spencer. Then this one is from the 608 says, what about Tua? I think he's still overrated. Or do you believe he's underrated because he hasn't gotten postseason wins? The postseason last year, they looked terrible in Kansas City in that freezing cold game. Miami, from the time they got off the plane, did not want to be there. They looked like they didn't want to be there. So Tua needs some postseason victories to put him into that. For all the numbers that he put up, and he put up fantastic numbers last year, but for all the numbers he put up, he needs postseason now. He's got to take that next step. They and they even went out and signed. They already had Tyreek Hill. They got Waddle. They've got great weapons. And then they went out and added by the way, we need veteran presence. So they got OBJ. They picked him up in the offseason too. If they don't get deep into the postseason this year, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what direction to take it. But Tua's got to get that. That's his next thing. And if he gets some postseason wins, then they'll be much better off in that facet. This one is from Jake. Jake says, what do you think of Patrick Mahomes without all the weapons? No Tyreek Hill, and once he ends up losing Kelsey, what do you think he will be then? I think he'll be a fantastic quarterback. He made it work with Marquez Valdes-Scantling as his number one. I mean, granted, they had a tremendous rookie season last year out of their wideout, and what was it? Rashee Rice. They had a tremendous rookie season out of him, but I mean, come on, it's Patrick Mahomes made those guys look good. I don't think I'm going out on a limb here by stating that. Even without Patrick Mahomes, just makes things, and he looks smooth doing it. They picked up Xavier Worthy this year in the first round. Rashee Rice, who's been in trouble in this offseason. Who else do they have? The other guy. It's got the weird name. Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown, they picked up from Arizona. Sky Moore is still there. They're waiting for him to kind of pick himself up. They picked up Kadarius Toney as well. Kadarius Toney came out of New York. And obviously they've got Travis Kelce, but I think if you take Travis Kelce out of this lineup and say Xavier Worthy out of this lineup, even if it's just Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown and maybe Kadarius Toney, I still think he's a hell of a quarterback. I still think they would win. And remember, they got Isaiah Pacheco coming out of the backfield, but he's not like a guy that's going to tote the rock 35 times and keep a defense at bay, right? He's just a different level of quarterback. I don't believe you could take away every weapon and he'd be great, but he's just a different level of quarterback. He just is. And I don't think we judge any quarterback without great stars around them. You don't look at Tom Brady and say Tom had great numbers with Gronk, for what he was. I mean, Hernandez gave him great numbers as well. You look at all the different wide receivers that weren't greater burners. I mean, Randy Moss obviously was, but weren't greater burners, but he still made it work, getting rid of the football quickly. Same thing. Now, you can say maybe, you look at a guy like Peyton Manning. He obviously had some really good wide receivers around him. Joe Montana had good wide receivers around him. Terry Bradshaw had good wide receivers around him. Same thing with, most look at what Dan Marino did. He had Mark Clayton and Mark Duper. They had those guys. You don't know what comes first, chicken or the egg, when it comes to a great receiver versus a great quarterback. Aaron Rodgers still was able to put up good numbers when he just had Devontae, but he still did good things. Now, is it because Devontae had better numbers? Sure it is. But does Devontae have a great career because of Aaron Rodgers? Sure he does. It is what it is. But you can't take away everybody's weapons and say, okay, be great, because if you don't have good weapons, what kind of a quarterback are you going to be really anyway? Kind of a moot point, but nevertheless, we'll talk a little horse racing when we come back. We got a lot more to get to. Don't go anywhere. We are broadcasting live out here at the Potawatomi Hotel Casino inside this magnificent sports book over my shoulder. This portion of the program, though, brought to you by our good friends out there in La Crosse, Buzzard Billy's on Pearl Street. Great food. Beverages, cold, stop into the bar. You can check out a game, family atmosphere as well. A lot of good old fashioned signs from the old gas stations years gone by. Just makes you feel like you've got a little bit of nostalgia when you walk through the door. And then you go upstairs to the Starlight Lounge, get yourself a craft premium cocktail. Oh, it's so good. Two great places combined under one roof. Buzzard Billy's on Pearl Street in La Crosse, Starlight Lounge upstairs. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
You ever have one of those days when you just couldn't come up with the right answer? Well, I know one answer that pretty much solves all problems. Ice cream. Yeah, it's the answer to everything, right? And right now, at Quick Trip, our rich, creamy, straight from our dairy, Nature's Touch 1-gallon pails of ice cream are just $4.99. Yeah, now that's an answer worth digging into. Come on, be a problem solver. Bring home some fresh, delicious Nature's Touch ice cream, only from Quick Trip.
Suit up for the $800,000 Sports Car Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. April through May. Score free play, cash, one of 4 new Toyota GR86s or a new Toyota Supra. Play with your club card to earn entries. 5 times the entries on drawing days and when the Milwaukee Brewers play at home. Got what it takes? Slugger, only at Potawatomi. For more details, visit pacebig.com/sportscar. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back. Bill Michaels Show live down here at the Potawatomi Hotel Casino, and the new sports book is opened. And what an amazing, amazing facility. Just can't say enough about it. We've been bragging about it all day. And thanks to Justin Arnett, the GM basically in here, kind of the master of all, to kind of give us a few of the details about this place a little while ago. Just a tremendous, tremendous facility. Now it's time. We got some Preakness steaks as we did the Kentucky Derby a couple of weeks ago, and now we bring him back. Dick Girardi is joining us on the hotline. And Dick, how you been, man? How'd you enjoy Churchill Downs?
Yeah, I'm great, Bill. How about you, buddy?
We're doing great. We're enjoying ourselves here at the sports book. It makes me want to place a couple of bets while I'm sitting here. But man, first of all, what an exciting Kentucky Derby to come down to a photo finish like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. We talked about Derby 150. It's never happened before that we had 3 horses separated by a nose like that. There's been a 3-horse photo, but never nose. So yeah, that was a hell of a finish for Derby 150.
So Mystic Dan coming into this one as the leader right now. I want to say when it comes to betting, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, he'll be the favorite. He wouldn't have been Tuesday morning when I'll get my dates right now. Wednesday morning, when Muth, who had actually beaten him in the Arkansas Derby, was scratched. He had a fever, and once Muth was scratched, then it was very clear that Mystic Dan would then become the favorite for the race.
Let me ask you this, because I know Bob Baffert was not allowed to run horses in the Kentucky Derby. Is he allowed to run horses at Preakness now?
That's correct. In fact, Muth was his horse, and he has another horse in the race, Imagination, who's a very talented horse, finished second in the Santa Ana Derby. So yeah, the Baffert thing, it's only a Churchill Downs thing. It's not a horse racing thing. He's able to race anywhere else. He just can't race at Churchill Downs tracks, at least until the end of the year. There's some question whether that ban will be lifted or not, but at the moment, he still can't race at Churchill-owned tracks.
So some of the other horses I know that are getting some play, you talked about Imagination. There's another one called Catching Freedom that we've been hearing more and more about. Tell me a little bit about Catching Freedom.
Right, so Catching Freedom finished 4th in the Kentucky Derby, a couple of lengths behind Mystic Dan, and he won the Louisiana Derby, which is one of the final big prep races for the Kentucky Derby. So he's certainly a contender. Mystic Dan will probably be the favorite but it's interesting. There's 8 horses in the race, and you can probably make a decent case, Bill, for 5 of them. You have the 2 Wayne Lucas horses, and Wayne is going for. This is kind of an amazing stat. He's 88 years old. He won his first Derby 44 years ago. So half his life ago, he won his first Derby, strive for Derby number 6 on Saturday. He's got Seize the Gray and Just Steel as contenders. Tuscan Gold, I would say, is definitely a contender for Chad Brown. He finished 3rd in Louisiana Derby. And we mentioned Imagination. And I got a little soft spot for Uncle Heavy, the Pennsylvania horse who trains at Parks, my home track. Love to see him do well on Saturday.
Well, that was the other one because I think he's 20-1. I was paying a little bit of attention to him and Uncle Heavy. Then you get into the betting side of things when it comes to Triple Crowns and the ability to win it. Does Mystic Dan have the ability to win the Triple Crown? Because that's what once you get into it and you see the Kentucky Derby winner, then you start to follow it to see if he's able to follow that up a couple of weeks later at the Preakness. Does he have that ability?
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have said that early in the week, Bill, but watching him train, I like what I'm seeing. I think he's come back maybe to the same form he had in Kentucky. If he can run that race again, then he's the most likely winner. And without Muth, it was certainly a major danger and beat Mystic Dan by 6 lengths in Arkansas. That gives him a clearer path. And it's interesting, when the week started at the betonline.ag lines, he was 10-1 to win the Triple Crown. Now he's 7-1. So he's come down because Muth is out, and now he's the favorite. But having said all that, if he does win on Saturday, the Belmont Stakes, which will be at Saratoga this year because they're in the process of tearing down the old Belmont Park, he'll have to face Sierra Leone, who remember finished just a nose behind him in Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And also, if Muth recovers, and he probably will, Muth could be at the Belmont Stakes too. So you're talking about horses that haven't raced, that'll be a little fresher, that won't be having their 3rd race in 5 weeks. So it won't be easy. But if you do like him in the Preakness, say he's 5-2 at the moment at Bet Online. If you do like him, I would say you might want to consider taking 7-1 to win all 3, because if he gets home on Saturday, he's going to be a lot less than 7-1 of the Belmont Stakes.
I know there was some bumping and grinding going on, much like NASCAR coming down the front stretch, and Sierra Leone got caught up in that. Had that not happened, does Sierra Leone win that race?
I think either Sierra Leone or the Japanese horse who was in the middle of that bumping probably would have caught Mystic Dan, because they ended up impeding each other. Right. And they finished noses apart behind the winner. See, I think that's a fair statement. But, that happens all the time in horse racing, where horses just get tangled up, and sometimes you're the lucky one. It's not that Mystic Dan was lucky. Made a lot of his own luck. But yes, I think if you asked his trainer, Kenny McPeak, he'd say we were very fortunate to win the race. But you know what? That nobody's going to remember who was fortunate. They're just going to know he was the winner.
Yeah. So if I'm, we talked about Uncle Heavy being a long shot. What is it? Mugatu? Is that another? Because that's another one that's 20-1 coming off. And tell me a little bit more about that.
Right. He's interesting. He was in the also eligible list for the Kentucky Derby. He did not make it in. He needed one more scratch that he didn't get. Now, he's really, to me, he's a way bigger long shot even than Uncle Heavy. He started 12 times with just 1 win. He was 5th behind Sierra Leone in the Bluegrass, but beaten 7.5 lengths. That's a lot to make up in a little bit of time. He'd be the most surprising winner in the race, and his odds, I think, reflect that. He was actually, at one time, it was interesting, he was 66-1 at Bet Online at one point. He's now down to 20, again, mostly because Muth scratched. Muth was 6-5 in the original line at Bet Online.
It is going to be an exciting weekend, and if Mystic Dan wins again, then all the buildup for the Belmont really becomes at a fever pitch. How long has it been since we've seen a Triple Crown winner, by the way?
So the last one we had was in 2018 with Justify. We had none for 37 years, and then we had American Pharaoh in 2015. And then Justify in 2018. It's interesting. We haven't even had a horse win the Derby and the Preakness since Justify in 2018. So we're 6 years between Triple Crown winners, which doesn't seem like much when you consider we had that 37.
Yeah, no doubt. Dick, it's always great to talk to you. I look forward to this weekend and the Preakness. And then, hey, Mystic Dan wins. We're all over it. We'll be bringing you back for sure, okay?
Look forward to it. Thanks, Phil.
Always great to talk to you. There you go. That is our guy, Dick Girardi, joining us for a couple of minutes. And, he is fantastic. When you talk to, about Dick Girardi, he national horse racing columnist for the Philadelphia Daily News. for years when I started following him, and at 38 years of experience when it comes to thoroughbred racing and a handicapper. And for the past 16 years, prior to each year's Triple Crown races in the spring and the Breeders' Cup and stuff, he's the analysis guy. He's the guy to go to. And we've been talking to Dick Girardi for a long, long time. By the way, I should have said congratulations. He's going to be inducted into the Joe Hirsch Media Roll of Honor at the National Museum of Racing in Saratoga Springs in New York. It's coming up this summer. So we're going to get him back on before the Belmont. But we got to make sure we say that to him then, because congratulations are in order for Dick Girardi, who's an esteemed writer when it comes to handicapping horse racing, for sure. Let's do this. We'll take a quick break. We're giving you a plethora of everything today. We talked Packers football. Haven't really talked a lot of Brewers baseball today, but the Brewers get a win. They're off today. Back at it tomorrow in Houston on that road trip, the longest road trip of the season, where they've got Houston, Miami, and then into Boston. And then after that, we have got some horse racing chatter. So we got all that stuff today. We're covering everything and a lot from down here inside the sports book. And again, yes, Margot, this place is as nice as I've been making it sound. I'm not lying to you. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your rear end just because Potawatomi is a sponsor. When they asked us if we had an interest in doing this, I came down here a while ago and started to look at the vision and started to walk through this place, and it is freaking amazing. From the giant Dream Lounger chairs that are up front, the tables and the booths behind them, and I can't even show you the bar and stuff that's underneath. This amazing food facility in the bar, it's like going to a nightclub. That's underneath. If you're looking at the screen now, it's off to the right. It's underneath the second level of this place, and it's huge and fantastic. So can't say enough about it. We are so thrilled to be here and honored to be here, and honored that they want us to come back. We haven't screwed anything up yet, so that's always something that's really good. Stay tuned. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Jeff Levering and wife Ashley love their patio door from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It's so bright. It's so clear. I can see the kids outside playing, and it makes it comfortable for the life we live, which is an active one.
I love the roll screen. The fact that the screen is on the inside.
For the first time, our whole house actually feels like the same climate.
And no drafts. It's a game changer.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella. And if you order today, you get 0% interest for up to 48 months. When it comes to replacing or upgrading your windows and doors, you want to be confident about your decisions. With Pella Design Works, you can see what your home could look like before you buy. Black frame windows or white, vinyl, wood, or fiberglass. Bring your vision to life and rest assured it's the perfect style for your home. Right now, get 0% interest-free financing for up to 48 months when you order by May 31st. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. That's 5/31/2024.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you. Good to have you on board. Thanks so much for taking a listen to us today. As always, and everybody over on the stream, Mark says, man, I live in Eau Claire, and those cameras are great. They will have you move down there. It's awesome. This facility, for those that are watching on the live stream, it's amazing. It really is. It really, really, really is. Yeah, man. Tidbit says 5 minutes left here in the North Woods, unless I'm guessing something else is missing here. Yeah, we go. We go 4 hours every day. Now, maybe in the North Woods, they only carry us until the 1 o'clock hour. I don't know. That's a great question. I know everybody is on the network for 2 midday portions of the show, for the 11 o'clock hour and the 12 o'clock hour. After that, I don't know what they take. But we're on the air 4 hours every day. 4 hours every day. So, yeah, if you're just waking up and hearing 2 hours, man, I don't know what to tell you. But I know I'm here for 4 hours, that's for sure. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, please feel free. Go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. Jamie says, hey, I remember you talking about the sports book and how great it was going to be months ago. Absolutely. This place is huge. Yeah. Big time. Big time. Great. It's the only thing they didn't do, and I think they're going to correct this, but they didn't put a bathroom upstairs. The only one is downstairs, and it's not very big. So I can only imagine this place packed on game day and the bathrooms being relatively small. And I think they're going to expand that. That's one of the things I think they're going to work on. So a little bit more construction to go, but we had Justin Arnett in here a little while ago. He said, we just wanted to get it open. Just get it open and then worry about, kind of fixing everything after the fact if you need to. So really good stuff. Victor says, great show. Awesome place. Question, how do you get on the VIP list for the event for the Packers game? And doing that. We are going to figure that out. Once we get confirmation that we can do it, I'll believe me. Believe me, we're going to let you know how to do it. Believe me. Yes. We'll put a whole prize package together and all that kind of stuff. And now I did get a couple of questions. Is it going to include a hotel? Probably not. But we're going to have fun. So if you live outside of the area, then we'll figure it out. We'll get you a special rate somewhere. We'll try to do it. Or we'll try to get a special rate here, depending on what the weekend is, because there may be a bunch of people here that are already taking rooms. Maybe we find something downtown. I don't know. This was something that was the brainchild that I had while I was sitting here, and they were talking about doing more events down here and watch parties and such. And I said, okay, let's do this. And this was about an hour and a half ago. I don't have it all yet, but we will. I promise you. We'll get it all rolling. What else do we have here? This is from Jake. He says, what do you think of Tiger's round today? I think Tiger ended up at 1 over. I think Tiger's competitive days of golf are behind him. I think Tiger always had the ability to maybe give you one more, But I think Tiger said it best earlier this week at the press conference. It's not about putting a day out there. If it's a one-day tournament, yeah, he probably could, compete. But 4 straight days, I don't think he has that ability anymore. I just don't. I said this. I said it after the whole thing went down on Thanksgiving when, Elin beat the hell out of his car with the golf club, that he never looked like the same golfer after that. It's like, the emperor had no clothes at that point. There was a giant flaw behind the facade that was Tiger Woods that was exposed. And I think it just changed who he was in a lot of ways. So, at this point, he's 10, Xander Schauffele shot a 62 today. He's 10, Tiger's 10 shots off the pace. So now, don't get me wrong, it's a PGA Championship record, that he's done. He tied his own record, but I don't think Tiger's got it anymore. And I hate to say that because I know a lot of people tune in to see Tiger. But as I said in the Masters, when the Masters was on, it's almost painful to watch Tiger play. Not because of what you wanted to remember of Tiger and how good he was, but the physicality that he, the pain it looks like he's in to play golf right now. It's kind of like when Jack's back was really bad towards the end of Jack Nicklaus's career, the back and the knee, and it was painful to watch him play. And he put it all together in his 40s, creeping in on his 50s to get that final major at Augusta. And that's kind of where I'm at with Tiger, but I don't think Tiger is ever going to be that competitive guy that walks on the course, that puts fear into other players. That player is gone and gone forever. Just is. All right, we got another hour yet to go. Don't go anywhere. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Wisconsin Sports Zone Update.
Well, the Brewers are headed down to Houston today. It's where they're going to open up a series against the Astros tomorrow. Milwaukee just got done taking 2 of 3 from Pittsburgh. That included a 10-2 win yesterday when they hit 5 home runs. That included a 2-run shot by rookie Jackson Chourio, one of the top prospects in baseball coming into this year. It has been smooth sailing for Chourio, batting just .219. But manager Pat Murphy said the experience he's gaining is big, and he's seen some growth of late.
The big leagues is tough, man. There's lessons to be learned, and he's making those steps. He's doing it better than I've seen a lot of young players do it. And for being only 20, I mean, he's went through his struggle now. Looks like he's gaining some confidence this month. Yeah, it's exciting. That swing, that gets exciting what he can do.
The Brewers head to Houston sitting at 26-17, first place in the NL Central by 1.5 games on the Cubs. Turning to the NBA, Bucks could be looking to add one of their former stars to their coaching staff. NBA insider Mark Stein reporting that Doc Rivers plans to make an aggressive push to hire Sam Cassell to his staff. Cassell is on the Celtics staff right now, but worked under Rivers at 2 other stops. Cassell also reportedly in the mix for the Lakers head coaching job.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
All business owners want the same thing, to make their business succeed. At Rural Mutual, they help that happen. As the 3rd largest writer of commercial business in Wisconsin, they take the time to learn your business so they can properly protect you. Call your local agent today or visit ruralmutual.com.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the NFL released its schedule last night for the Packers. It includes 5 standalone national TV games, including 4 straight in late November and early December. Green Bay will continue their offseason program next week as the first of 3 weeks of OTAs get going. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil, Print.
Welcome back. We are glad you are with us. Beautiful facility. Love it down here. Love it. Potawatomi Hotel Casino, and we are inside the brand new sportsbook. Oh my God, is this place fantastic. Beyond fantastic. Just awesome. Love it in here. And this studio they built for us. And they built it for everybody else too, but we had a little bit of input as to what you like, what you don't like, and all that kind of stuff. And they did not spare any expense. They did it right. And it's funny because I watch a lot of home improvement shows, and I always watch about these granite countertops and all that kind of stuff and the marbling and such that's in them. And this thing is just done so right. Short of making it a waterfall edge, it's done so right. And I know that JC asked why we're not using the microphones here. Only for the fact that I'm not overwhelmingly familiar with everything in the studio. We could, but when you have the headsets, it's like, you got to wear a headset anyway when you're in here. This is a great podcast facility. It's incredible for what they did in here. And I don't think you can see it, but well, maybe you can, because if you're looking at the television screens right now and you're watching us online off to the right where the TV screen is in front of me, there's 3 cameras there that you can see. They're all remote control operated and from a producer's studio that's behind the wall. And each camera operates independently, and you can zoom in, you can zoom out. The cameras move. They didn't spare any expense. These Panasonic cameras, I think they go for about $5 to $10 grand a piece. And it can be all done by a producer. Now, what I was hoping they would eventually do is make it to where you could use like a toggle switch to turn on which camera you want and, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I don't want to get too technical here, but it's just an amazing studio. If you got a staff, like if you've got a staff of producers and engineers and the whole thing, and you want to come down and do the podcast, I mean, this is primo facility. They didn't spare any expense here. This is great. But that being said, we are glad to be here. And we were talking football a little bit earlier. We were talking overrated, underrated, all that kind of good stuff. Michael said, couldn't agree with you more about Brock Purdy. Purdy being called a system quarterback is like saying Kurt Warner was a system quarterback. The last time I checked, Warner's a Hall of Famer. Look at the talent around him in St. Louis and Arizona. Yes, he was benched with the Giants before getting good again in Arizona. Purdy, to me, deserves the bigger payday over Love at this point. 2 years of solid play to just 9 games of solid play. That's from Mike. Mike, appreciate the email. The problem is that Purdy is on coming out of that rookie deal, and he played almost right away. Whereas Jordan Love, you got to make a decision. You got to pay the man at some point, So with Jordan Love, they got to pay him. You don't have a choice. I agree with you. The proof being in the pudding, and as far as consistency goes, Brock Purdy's been it. No, hands down. Now, here's my question now. If I asked you today, not necessarily about the money, but if I said to you, you got to win a Super Bowl this season, you either get Brock Purdy or Jordan Love, who you taking? Austin, who would you take? Brock Purdy or Jordan Love?
I'm taking Jordan Love. I think he has the better talent ceiling right now, and I think by the end going into this year, I think he's the better quarterback.
I would not disagree.
I know a lot of people hate on Brock Purdy. I'm not one of those guys. I think he's a very serviceable quarterback and he fits that system. But put Jordan Love in a Kyle Shanahan system and it's doing the same thing. Put him on the same team. He's doing the same thing, if not better. That is a perfectly executed system for Brock Purdy to succeed. But he's still a good quarterback. But overall, I think I'm taking Jordan Love.
Yeah, I would as well. I kind of think like, okay, you put either guy on the Giants, who's going to excel? And
Jordan Love.
Yeah, and that goes back to the stigma of Brock Purdy. But we've seen, yeah, I would agree with you. But I don't know if I have anything to back it up. That's the problem.
In reality, it might really just be the eye test. In reality,
yeah,
that's kind of all we can go off of. I think.
Brock Purdy can scramble, so can Jordan Love. It's not like Jordan Love is a speedster where he's Lamar Jackson. Both guys can throw downfield. Both guys are smart quarterbacks. Both guys have been battle tested. Brock Purdy far more than Jordan Love has been. But you're right. I have nothing to go on other than just the fact of the eyeball test. Just to say that I think Jordan Love would do more with less than Brock Purdy could do more with less. But I don't know. I don't have anything to back it up. But that goes back to our discussion about Brock Purdy being one of the more underrated and under-discussed quarterbacks in the National Football League for what he's done and what the success that he's had. But people, like you said, well, he's serviceable. He's a system quarterback. He's got the coach behind, which could be true. I mean, probably very much is, but man. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hey, by the way, everybody downstairs filling out the sheets. We are going to give away a big screen TV today, compliments of our friends at ABC Audio Video. So if you're still within the sound of my voice and you're coming in down here, make sure you get one of the slips when you walk through the door. Get registered. We got about 40, I think, like 40 something of them, I think, that are down there. So you got a good shot, 1 in 50, I would say, by the end of the day, maybe 1 in 60 by the end of the day. And who knows, maybe you walk out of here with a 65-inch big screen TV. It'd be fantastic. Fantastic. So come on down and say hello. This one's from Marty. Marty says, hey, guys, I think one of the more underrated quarterbacks right now is Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert just hasn't had a good head coach. Staley was an absolute idiot. That team should have been much better, and Herbert should have got much more praise rather than being the scapegoat for a terrible defense and a moron of a coach. Marty, you don't like Staley very, very much. And I have to say, I applaud you. Staley was terrible. He was a train wreck. Just was. And they should have canned him a long time ago. But they didn't. They gave him an opportunity to kind of right the ship, and it was a bad, bad move. I don't know about the Justin Herbert take, but it's kind of like if you want to give him a reprieve, it's the same thing that I said about Trevor Lawrence in regards to Urban Meyer. He had a bad system and the difference is Justin Herbert has had another coach and has had success, whereas Trevor Lawrence, when he came into the league, the guy that was waiting for him on the other side of the door to say, hello, how we looking, was Urban Meyer. And that's all he knew in the National Football League until they fired Urban Meyer after one season and then ended up hiring Doug Peterson, who a former quarterback, and he's been a godsend. He's gotten the job done. But I would agree with you on the Staley factor. That team should have been better, could have been better. And it was just excuse after excuse after excuse as to why they weren't better. And they just couldn't get it fixed. Staley was not the guy. He was not the guy. But that's a really good take. That's a really good take. I can appreciate that. Oh, by the way, we were talking about our guy Randy Hawk earlier, Austin. Randy texted me. He said there's 3 types of quarterbacks in the NFL: Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and those who wish they were Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, including that delicate flower in Cincinnati that they can't make tough enough for and make it through an entire season, which I would agree with that.
That's good.
Randy's killing me. He's killing me.
Randy will defend his guys no matter what.
Yes, he will.
That is one thing I've learned about him.
He has got a bottle. He's got a Buffalo Bills bottle of wine on his desk in his office. So he's the staunch Bills fan of the group. And I give him credit. Hey, man, he's been Bills through and through. So hey, that's your team, Love it. Defend it. Go with it. But Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and everybody else. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I understand it. So 877-867-1670. Find us again, 877-867-1670. If you want to do so, go ahead. Let's see here. We've got this one. Who's this one from? This one's from Jim. Jim says, hey, Bill, I look at the Packers season as being a 12-win season. I also look at Jordan Love being whispered as one of the MVPs this year. Do you think he has that level of play in him? If I had to handicap the MVP race right now, I would say, man, it's a great question. Yeah, I think you got to go with the top three, which would be Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and C.J. Stroud. Because C.J. Stroud, Rookie of the Year, hands down, and was actually in the MVP race for a while. Rookie of the Year and or quiet MVP could end up being Marvin Harrison Jr. But I just don't know if Kyler Murray is going to be good enough to exploit his talents. Those three first, you could put Jordan Love in that mix. The way Jordan Love played down the stretch in the last 7 games, those numbers, he'd win it hands down. He'd take off. So, yeah, you could go with that.
I mean, if we're being realistic, the MVP is going to go to a quarterback who probably has a top 2 or 3 seed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So if we go that way, I think there's definitely a path for Jordan Love to win.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's a favorite, but I think there's a path.
He can't do it. Jordan Love, if he has a bad game, it's okay. But you can't have a bad section of games. Yeah. Like last year. You can't have a bad section of games. But if he plays the way he did that, now he's not going to throw for 22 touchdowns and 1 pick. I mean, that's not going to happen. But if he has a season where, say, he throws for 38 touchdowns and 6 picks and throws for over 4,200 yards, and the Packers are an 11 and 12 win team, yep, he's in the running. He's in the running, no doubt. Trying to think who else. You could always, much like, Randy alluded to, you could always say Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow's got to remain healthy. And I still don't know what's going to happen down there because T. Higgins wants out. That would hurt him because Jamar Chase would be more so the guy, and he is the guy, but he would have to be a standalone rather than having a little bit of that pressure taken off of him by T. Higgins. Steve says, what about Rodgers? God. At the age of 41? If I'm going to pick 2 dark horses in this race, one could be Rodgers. The other one, you may laugh at me, but that could be Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins. Jared Goff could be in the race too. Sorry, Daniel. Daniel says, what about Jared Goff? Yes, Jared Goff could be in the race too. But Kirk Cousins, he's in a really good situation. He's got a running back. He's got some wideouts. They could have done more to help him, correct? But once you get past the pick, the backup quarterback pick, he could be in the running. Absolutely. He's always had the numbers. It's not like he's been a bad player hands down. He's always had good numbers. It's just not whether or not they can put him over the top. And who knows? Maybe maybe the choice of Michael Penix Jr. throws that chip on his shoulder and off he goes. Because remember the first year that they chose Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers went crazy for 2 years, won another MVP. So I mean, when you're talking about him with Bijan Robinson back there, who's he got? He's got Darnell Mooney. He's got Rondell Moore. He's got London Drake. Kyle Pitts is his tight end. They've got some talent. And they've got a good run game behind them. It's just whether or not they can put the whole defensive thing together to do it. They picked up a lot of depth on defense. They spent a lot of draft quality on defense. The second round, they got Rook Orohoro. Who else did they pick up? Braylon Trice at the outside linebacker position. Bertrand they picked up. God, I can't remember what round they got him in. Dorless is another one they picked up, the big defensive end. So they've spent a lot of draft capital on that defense. If they get that defense going and that team starts to make some splashes, and especially in what is not considered to be an overwhelmingly tough NFC South, he could be the huge standalone, depending on what they do down in Tampa. But yeah, he could be kind of a dark horse in that race. I wouldn't take it away from him. But again, do you give it to a guy that you kind of look at and go, well, he's not going to win anything in the postseason because of the history he's had? I don't know if you can. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free. Go ahead and do so. Hey, got to talk about our friends at Every Plumbing and Heating. They're in La Crosse and Trempealeau and Monroe and Vernon, Jackson counties. And if you are looking for a plumber, if you are looking for somebody in a bathroom remodel, kitchen remodel, if you're looking to put, say, in-floor heating in your house before next winter, working on the spigots or doing something different outside, they can do it for you. Water softeners, water heaters, reverse osmosis. I can go on and on. Every Plumbing and Heating, they continue to hire top-notch plumbers and heating contractors that they work with and employees, and they're great. Third generation, you know they're going to be around. You know they warranty their work. You know they're not going anywhere. They're not a fly-by-night group. That's Every Plumbing and Heating out in Onalaska, Wisconsin. All you got to do is pick up the phone. Pick up the phone now and call. Bring them over. Get an estimate. Whatever your need is, you should have them on speed dial. 608-783-2803. 608-783-2803. That is Craig Every and the gang from Every Plumbing. Call Craig. Pick up the phone and call Craig. Don't even have a problem. Just call him up and talk to him. Talk sports with him. Craig Every's a great guy. 608-783-2803.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Got to say thanks to our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. At Pella, they have, I've been telling you about this for a long time. I've got the patio doors in the great room, and when I had those replaced, oh my God, did it make a difference down there, specifically in the wintertime, because that room used to it never got above like 68 degrees, never. And some really cold mornings, you'd go down there, it'd be 65, and it would never get over that, and the heat was constantly running. Now, comfortable, they're steady, 68, 69, 70 degrees. Depending on where I set it, and you just set it and forget it. You don't even have to worry about the room down there anymore because the windows and the doors made such an incredible difference. And I've got them throughout my house, and I love Pella, you know that. And whether it's the innovations like the roll screen or the slider windows, or it's the fact that they have financing that's available, they have something different for everybody's budget. They have the vinyl, they have the Impervia, which is as strong as, if not stronger than fiberglass, or the different styles and makes of wood windows, from contemporary, modern to the old rustic wood look, which is really kind of cool within itself. And they just have so much to offer. That's our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call them 855-PELLA-WI. Tell them I sent you. They've got showrooms, Green Bay, just west of Milwaukee in the Brookfield area. They've got them in Madison, now up in the Stevens Point, Wausau area as well. So if you're looking for windows, you don't need to go any further with the installation, the guarantees that they have, the fact that it's going to make your house more economical, more comfortable, curb appeal, beautification, safe at night, which to me is a huge, huge thing when it comes to it. As much as you travel, you're on the road. You don't want people busting into your house. You know, I mean, in today's day and age, you have to think about that kind of stuff. You know, I'm not lying. You know, you think about it. You always wonder if you left the window open or unlocked. And with these things, you don't have to worry about it, man. You lock them up and there's no worries at all. So Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, great stuff, great people. Go to PellaWI.com. That is PellaWI.com, or call them 855-PELLA-WI. That's 855-PELLA-WI. Steven says, all the Tiger Woods talk earlier makes me hungry for Hooters. You're a mess. Oh, my God. They want to know if Elin, when she clubbed him with the club, did she replace the divots after she was done? No, she took a 2-shot penalty because of it. Just so you know. You're a mess. Oh, I don't know why I'm laughing at it, but that made me laugh. That's kind of funny when you think about it. Oh, my God. The 715, Greg says, I'm listening from Grindelwald, Switzerland. Listening on the app. Now, he's got a 715 area code, but listening in Switzerland. That's awesome, man. That is fantastic. Love that. From the 262 says, just simply love the Preakness talks. Love the Preakness talk. Thank you very much. Kevin listened to us in central Wisconsin, says, what about Tiger competing on the Champions Tour? I don't know. I mean, yes, we would assume he eventually will. Okay, so yes, to answer your question. But I'm going to be anxious to see what he's able to do on the Champions Tour. Do you think he's going to have a run like Stricker just had this past year? Stricker was on fire. I think he won 6 tournaments and was in competition for most. He had a fantastic season. I mean, normally you get happy if you get some top 10 finishes and you get 1 win, maybe 2. He had 6 of them. So, I would. I will say one thing: it'll be a hell of a shot for this for the Champions Tour, the senior circuit, if they want to call it that. When Tiger does decide to go in that direction, the crowds will be much larger. Tiger is a draw. He just is. Tiger's a draw. You know, you think about a lot of retired football players, if they had like a retiree flag football group, you know, how many eyes they would bring, and they would bring eyes. So Tiger is going to be a draw. I would love to see Tiger coming to the AmFam Championship and the Century World and all that kind of stuff. Man, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to see a senior tour championship like a U.S. Open seniors or something, or a PGA Championship seniors playing at Whistling or at Erin Hills. I mean, I'd love to see something like that. So you bet, man. Will he compete on it? I would assume. Do you get the sense, though, that Tiger would look at it as if he can't compete for the majors and play on the PGA Tour, do you think that's beneath him? And I don't want to demean it like that, because you look at, again, like Steve Stricker and Tiger are friends. And I don't think Tiger would ever look at Steve Stricker and go, I don't want to do that. That's not for me. But it's almost like that's the beginning of the end. And when the beginning of the end has already taken place. But that's kind of like officially saying, hey, I don't have that same level in me to compete in some of those things anymore. This is where I'm going to go. And again, I feel like I'm demeaning the Champions Tour, and I'm not. I'm trying not to. But it's, you don't see a whole lot of guys over the age of 50 or 40 for that matter on a consistent basis competing with some of the guys of, Schauffele and, go back to when Rory was killing it, Spieth was killing it, Dustin Johnson and the way he can crush a ball, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, you start to go through that list. So, you don't see a lot of guys over the age of 45, 50 that are doing that. But I would love to see what Tiger would play and what he would shoot on the senior tour, on the Champions Tour. Yeah. That'd be great. Like I said, I'd love to see it. Love to see it happen. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Looking forward to a lot more of our broadcast down here. That's from Randy. This is John, who says, I would love to see Tiger on the Champions Tour. Oh, my God, to get up close and personal with Tiger walking around the AmFam Championship would be awesome. John, appreciate the email. Appreciate it very much. And yes, you're right. I would agree with you. It would be great to see him on that tour. Spencer says, hey, Bill. He was down here last weekend. I thought he was talking about coming down here. He was here last weekend. So I was here for the opening. You were 100% correct. The big screen down there is absolutely amazing, and the definition on it blows my mind. The progress that they've made in televisions is amazing, too. He says, I think the Brewers are going to get a couple of wins this weekend, and how about a successful road trip? I would love to see them sweep the Red Sox in Fenway. That would be a historic weekend. We are heading off to Boston next week. Oh, Spencer, have a great time in Boston. You got it. He said, where would you go to eat? I don't know Boston real well. Okay. I got to be honest, but up on the hill, I got to think of what the hell the name of it is. Is it Federal Hill? I think it's Federal Hill. Or is that in Rhode Island? I can't remember, but you go the Little Italy area. You got to go, and don't eat at one restaurant. This is what you do. This is how you do this. The Cask and Flagon, by the way, is the bar that's out just beyond the center field wall. And that's where we go. When we go there, I love that place. Really good food, too. But if you're going to go Italian, in Boston, you go up on the hill, and the way you do it, because every restaurant's small. It's not like they have these giant Italian restaurants. They're all in like row buildings, and they're all long and skinny, okay? And they all have maybe 10 to 15, possibly 20 tables and bar space. But what you do is you go into each place and find a spot at the bar. All right. This is the way we did it. And you start out at one place, and the first place you have a glass of wine, have a water with it. I suggest a water, because otherwise you're going to be a mess come your third or fourth bar or restaurant. But we went into one place, and what was your specialty? And they said, we got these terrific meatballs. Okay, great. We took 2 little plates of just 2 meatballs as appetizers. The next place we went and had calamari. The next place, we split a couple of pieces of garlic bread. So we're already through 3 restaurants. You're getting a little bit of the flavor of the place, but you're watching all the faces and all the sights and sounds come in, okay? They've got a really cool firehouse up there, too, that you go, and all the fire trucks are painted the different sports logos. So one of them is the Boston Bruins. The other one's the Celtics. The other one's the Red Sox. The other one's the Patriots. So go through that area, too. But then you come back down the other side. There's a couple of restaurants where once you get in there, you're like, okay, I'm done, messing around. And then that's when you sit down and you do whatever dinner it is you like. You got a few appetizers in you. You're kind of a little bit full, but that's the way I would do it. So instead of going to one place, hit like 4 or 5 of them and then decide that's where you want to eat. That's the way you do it. That's the way we did. Oh my God, it was a great night. Now, by the time you get the Uber to come back to your hotel or wherever it is you're staying, you got to unbuckle your pants and you're a mess. But you're going to go, whew, it was an amazing night. Trust me. That's the way to do it, especially if you're going in the summertime. We went in the wintertime when you couldn't even stand outside because it was so cold. You had the wind blowing through there. So summertime, you're easy. It's good. But on Friday and Saturday night, you better get into the bar area because a lot of those places have lines. I mean, long lines just to get in the building. So, but that's the way I would do it. 877-867-1670. We got a lot more to get to and more advice to give out if we possibly can. Hell yeah. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. We are live here at Potawatomi Hotel Casino inside the sports book. More coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network. Suit up for the $800,000 Sports Car Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. April through May. Score free play, cash, one of 4 new Toyota GR86s or a new Toyota Supra. Play with your club card to earn entries. 5 times the entries on drawing days and when the Milwaukee Brewers play at home. Got what it takes? Slugger, only at Potawatomi. For more details, visit payspay.com/sportscar. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
You got to hit it, bang it, rock it, put it in the pocket. Hit it, bang it, rock it, put it in.
Good to have you back. The Bill Michaels Show. Again, down here live inside Potawatomi Hotel Casino, giving away just a little bit. We're going to give away the big screen TV. I've got some registration slips. They're going to pull one and give me a name, and then we'll give away a big screen TV. A big screen TV. Looking forward to it, too. And kind of an honor of the big screen TV that's behind me, this massive, massive complex we've been talking about all day down here at Potawatomi. I mean, it's just what an amazing, amazing facility. And if you haven't, had a chance to really, there it is right there if you're watching on the live screen. And that's only half of it. That's the thing about it. What you're looking at is only half, kind of like maybe 3/4 of that room. There's still, if you go to go to the left, there's still more. It's huge. Huge. And those little black dots down in front, those are chairs. Those Dream Lounger chairs like they have in theaters, those are actually chairs. So just in essence, it tells you how big in comparison it is to the room. It's enormous. So anyway, there you go. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Jamie says, the husband and I always do one Packer away game. This year, the choice is between Tennessee or Jacksonville. Where would you go? I got to be honest. I'd go Nashville. Now, I will say this. I've been to Jacksonville, and it's not that it's bad. It's, if you want to go where it's going to be warm and or hot, okay. But I've never been to Nashville to where I could enjoy the city. Now, they tell me two things. One, Nashville's great. On the other hand, Nashville's expensive. It depends on what kind of a trip you're looking for. But I want to go to Nashville. I've got some cities that I would like to visit. I would like to go to Nashville. I want to get, I want to take a night or two, and I want to walk the street. And I want to go listen to music, and I want to have some beers. And if there's a place to smoke a cigar, but I just want to go and walk Nashville. I've always wanted to do that. But the one thing about Nashville is it has blown up in the last maybe 2 decades. It has just gone through the roof. So between the expense, the tourism and everything, it's crazy. So, Jacksonville, very laid back, wonderful place, the whole thing, beautiful place, beautiful facility. If you're just going for the game, that's great. But if you want to go and just have a party and see other just Packers fans are everywhere, because it'll be a home game for both. But Nashville is a really cool destination. Yeah. Yeah. Nashville's an incredibly cool destination. You walk up and down, what is it, Broadway, I think is what it is, Broadway in Nashville. And you just walk the streets. I have been to Nashville twice with the Packers, but I've never been anywhere. You go to a steakhouse, you eat, you get up the next day, you do the game, you'll fly home. I've never had a chance to go enjoy it. So just like Boston, when I was telling people I'd been to Boston, but I'd never been to Fenway. You fly in, you go to Foxborough, you're doing a dinner and you're flying back home. You know, you do the game and you're done, where I've never had a chance to go experience it. And by the way, when I was saying before, Faneuil Hall, that's another place. My buddy Justin reminded me of it. Faneuil Hall. We went to Faneuil Hall, that whole area in Boston, and they've got a place like a almost like a Joe's Crab Shack, but it's not. It's underground, and it's a great like seafood oyster bar. That place too. Now I know the Italian stuff is up on the hill, but the seafood oyster bar in that area is really, really fantastic. So, yep. Yeah, boy. 877-867-1670. This one's from CJ listening to us in Heartland, Wisconsin. Say, Bill, how would you rate the Packers wide receiving core? I think they're one of the best in the NFC. How would I rate them? I think you start with some of the better ones that are out there, right? The Lions have a good, they got Amon St. Brown, but I don't know if I'd go in that direction. You know, Minnesota, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. After that, do you look at Brandon Powell and go, oh my God, he puts fear in me, you know, anything like that? TJ Hawkinson certainly helps because that gives you the three-headed monster when it comes to your receiving core. Arizona now, with adding the depth of Marvin Harrison Jr., they got Michael Wilson. But beyond that, it's not, you know, not something that's going to burn you. Certainly out in L.A. with Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Demarcus Robinson. They picked up Jordan Whittington in the 6th round this year to kind of add some depth there. But that's a good receiving core. But they're top heavy. You got to start with San Francisco and look at what they have, because San Francisco, it starts and ends with Deebo Samuel, but they picked up Ricky Pearsall. There's still Brandon Ayuk. That's solid. And Brandon Ayuk, we all know once you know, the contract, but Brandon Ayuk, Jacob Cowing, who they picked up this year in the 4th round as well. So they've made that quite a bit better. Who else? Dallas? CeeDee Lamb?
You got to put Philly in there.
Philly, yes.
Devontae Smith.
Yep. Philly, correct. Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert. But Philly, yeah, I would agree with you as well for what they have and the depth that they have with Devonta Smith, A.J. Brown. There's who else do they have? They picked up 2 guys this year in the draft. I think it was Smith and Wilson, I think were the 2 guys. I can't remember who they have. But they also have Devontae Parker as depth. So they probably got 4 or 5 guys there that are really good. But are the Packers better than that? I think I could qualify it if I knew that Christian Watson was going to be fully healthy. If he was going to be fully healthy and was the Christian Watson that we saw in the mid-portion a couple of seasons ago, where he was catching touchdown passes at will from Aaron Rodgers, and I mean getting open and taking off, then I could maybe say, yeah, you're right there with what they have, because they've got good route runners and sure-handed guys. But without Christian Watson, they don't have that true game breaker, that burner. So it's Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, maybe Dontavian Wicks or Malik Heath kind of evolve into that guy. But right now, I couldn't say that. But what we know versus the rest of the world is a little bit different. I would probably have to put them about 3rd or 4th at least. And that's being probably biased on our end. So, you know, because Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, man, that's a hell of a tandem. Addison, Jefferson, that's a hell of a tandem. Throwing Hawkinson, that's a hell of a tandem. Now, if you include the tight end position with Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave, now you're talking about, you know, multiple weapons you can go to almost anywhere on the field. If you have a healthy Christian Watson, yeah, they could certainly evolve it. Put it this way, their ceiling, the Packers' ceiling, is only as good as Christian Watson is going to be. That's kind of the way I feel, that if Christian Watson is back, then the ceiling for this group is through the roof. If he's not back and he can't be consistent, then it's only so high, unless, of course, you see these big leaps out of your tight end position this season. But yeah, they're probably 4th or 5th in that list. I don't know if they're the best, but they're they're certainly climbing, and a lot of the question marks we had going into last season were answered midway to 3/4 of the way through the season. So I'd go with that. But as far as the NFC goes, I'd put them 4th or 5th at the furthest back, I guess, is the best way to put it. This portion of the program brought to you by our buddy Dwayne at Dwayne's, D-U-A-N-E-S, Dwayne'sCoverItAll.com. That is Dwayne'sCoverItAll.com up in Wausau. Whether it's boat covers, awnings for your business, for above your patio, gym equipment, office furniture, and so much more. Call them 715-870-2119, 715-870-2119. Go to Dwayne's, D-U-A-N-E-S, Dwayne'sCoverItAll.com.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Jeff Levering and wife Ashley love their patio door from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It's so bright. It's so clear. I can see the kids outside playing, and it makes it comfortable for the life we live, which is an active one.
I love the roll screen. The fact that the screen is on the inside.
For the first time, our whole house actually feels like the same climate.
And no drafts. It's a game changer.
Hi, I'm Gina Della from Pella, and if you order today, you get 0% interest for up to 48 months. When it comes to replacing or upgrading your windows and doors, you want to be confident about your decisions. With Pella Design Works, you can see what your home could look like before you buy. Black frame windows or white, vinyl, wood, or fiberglass. Bring your vision to life and rest assured it's the perfect style for your home. Right now, get 0% interest-free financing for up to 48 months when you order by May 31st. Set your free in-home consultation at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. That's 5/31/2024.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back. The Bill Michaels Show. We are live. We are here inside Potawatomi Hotel Casino, and the sports book is now open, and it's operational, and it's absolutely wonderful. We've had a steady trickle of people in and out. We had a good rush during the lunch hour, and then it kind of tapered back off again. We only got about 10, 15, 20 people down below, but they say during UFC fights, game day, coming in the evening, Brewers games, it's almost shoulder to shoulder in there. It's just that crowded. It's a wonderful, wonderful facility. And what I'm doing here as far as the pictures and such and the video, it really, to be honest with you, it doesn't do it justice. It really doesn't. It doesn't do it justice. Now, the radio booth here, if you want to call it that, it's not even a booth. It's an actual room within itself. TVs on all the walls and just this great, terrific television lighting and, offset lighting up above us, it's beautiful. But the job they did here inside the casino and the hotel and this area and the sports book is just second to none. Like I said, you'd have to really. Circa has a terrific sports book, and we had Justin Arnett on a little while ago, and he's right. Circa is a beautiful place. Bally's out there, that sports book for a long time was kind of the creme de la creme, and then that got antiquated. But you'd have to search long and hard to find a sports book that's this good anywhere specifically in the Midwest. But it's probably top 10 in the country. I would have to say that. And I don't go to a lot of them, but I've seen a lot of them. Top 10 in the country. Going back to our question about the wide receiver group, Mike says, hey, don't forget, we hate to say it, but the Bears have gotten better as a group. The Bears did. The Bears really did. They obviously they picked up a Dunze. They already have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, who they picked up from the Chargers. They got good real quick. They got Dante Pettis. They picked him up from New York. They got Jones. I think Tyler Scott's one of the guys in their depth. But when you talk about the top 3-4 guys, yeah, they've got a pretty good wide receiving core. Their tight end is Cole Kmet, and he's a hell of a receiver too. If Caleb Williams is anything, that's going to be a team. And then on top of that, you picked up Devondre Swift coming out of the backfield. That's a team, man. I hate to say it, but they may have gone from being the cellar dweller to climbing out of that maybe higher than a lot of us either would have thought or would be comfortable with, to be honest. So, yeah, they got good in a hurry. You can't discount them. Agree. Big time. What else here? We got one or two things. By the way, the $212 million contract extension for Jared Goff. Jared Goff said that, and as he spoke, that two of the big things in his deal it includes the $73 million signing bonus, which is the largest in NFL history. However, being signed through 2028, when Goff will turn 34, just as intriguing, they said, but it was mostly security. You go back and forth on the numbers and whatnot, and that wasn't really the thing that was, ever something that I was really extremely concerned about, Goff said. It was the security and the no trade clause and all of that stuff, knowing that all of that was in there. And I felt secure in knowing I can finally put that behind me about being moved and traded. I can call this place home. He's excited about what's to come in Detroit. So he can't trade him, and he knows he's got that security. He knows that just being there now, he's the guy. Because remember, for a long time, they were thinking, well, is he going to be a placeholder? Do we need to move on? He's like, I can finally now just rest. Not that you want to rest. I get what he's saying. He's not saying, I can just rest and take some time off now. No, he's just basically saying, look, I don't have to be looking over my shoulder all the time anymore. I finally got a place that believes in me and says that we want you to be here. And there's something to be said for that. That I completely agree with. So Jared Goff spoke about the contract, and he said it was the security and the no trade clause. Both of those were two things that were very, very important to him. So there you go. Let's see here. What do we got coming up? We are going to be at the Wisconsin State Fair Park next Wednesday. Tomorrow we'll be back in studio. State Fair Park next Wednesday. And then you come up a little bit later in the month on the 30th, we are going to be at Road America. So next Tuesday, the 22nd, we're going to be at State Fair Park, 30th at Road America, and then, on from there. But we next week we kind of officially kick off our summer as we're going to be back outside. So, but if you want to go inside, this is the place to go. We've been saying it all day. We certainly appreciate the staff and management as we kind of wind things up here. The staff and management, thanks to Justin Arnett, the GM here, Luis Olmos and his staff for making us feel at home. This incredible facility, and we're gonna do something pretty cool here. So look for some things to come in the near and dear future, because this is going to be the co-home of the Bill Michaels Show for a long time to come. I can pretty much guarantee that. They want us down here, and we want to be a part of it. So we're excited to be here, and I don't think we're going to change that anytime soon. And I also want to remind you, not only are we here because we like this place, but they support us in our mission when it comes to the motorcycle ride and doing things for veterans, military members, their families, first responders. They're a big sponsor when it comes to our ability to host our event on Sunday, September 1st for the motorcycle ride that is in support of Fisher House, Wisconsin, and our post-ride concert. And as a matter of fact, Potawatomi supplies the dealers and they got something cool this year too for all the riders that come in and get the poker hands, but they supply the dealers for our poker hands at the end of the motorcycle ride. So we can't say thanks enough to them on so many different levels. And thanks to you for paying attention to us. Good crowd today on the live stream. We got to talk a lot of football. Tomorrow we'll be back at it. We'll kind of wrap up the week. Brewers tomorrow, they're going to be on the road in Houston. We'll discuss that. Anything breaking regarding the Green Bay Packers. By the way, I failed to mention it today. Admirals got knocked off last night by Grand Rapids. They got to get back at it. Got to get another one. Got to get that first one, get one on the road, come back home, get the win. But down no games to one in that Western Conference Finals. So come on, Ads. Got to get back at it. Until we talk again 20 hours from now, it is time for us to get out of here. And from everybody down here at Potawatomi Hotel Casino. Oh, God, I forgot to mention it. Oh, Adrian Wilcox. Adrian Wilcox, you want a television? You the man. Compliments of ABC Audio.